How are y'all doing? Things are going pretty good here. Got some movies recently that I was interested in seeing. One I grew up with, which is a Goofy movie. Then I got Lilo and Stitch. I was kind of forced to get the first two movies. They're out of that. Even though, honestly, I was only interested in the first Lilo and Stitch. And that first Lilo and Stitch movie was pretty good. Those of you wondering if I saw live action, I did the day after I watched the first Lilo and Stitch. And it wasn't that great. Could be just because I saw the animated version first. But I'm not too sure about that. Because I did see the Lion King remake after having not seen the original Lion King in years. And it just wasn't that great. And so I wasn't too hopeful. But Disney, as they are right now, it was just that bad, the Lion King movie was. And when I heard that Lilo and Stitch came out, I knew that it was a remake almost immediately, but I hadn't seen the original at the time. I was like, they're probably gonna butcher this if they butchered the Lion King as bad as they did. But, of course, I'm happy to say that they didn't do too bad with Lilo and Stitch. They definitely didn't get up to snuff. It was, okay at best. The things I remembered laughing about in the animated movie just didn't come off as funny in live action, even when I knew it should be funny, like Scientist and Pleakley just not being able to move around easily in that. But I just didn't feel connected with anything in there. Some people might be like, wait, you didn't empathize with Nani at all? And I'm like, come on. And guys, you're one, asking me to project myself, and two, Nani, in the live action, she had help. That's good that she had help. I'm glad that she did. But she had help with stuff. So many people willing to step in. In the original, it was like a big struggle. And that struggle was kind of left out of there. That's what went on with that. Plus, a lot of movies I have problems with these days, at least when it's supposedly concerning family, like Lilo and Stitch did, is it's generally not that great. Like, the message is good. There's nothing wrong with that kind of message of the importance of family. It's just, when I compare it to, say, Clannad, one of the best anime out there that goes over family, the importance of it and finding it, kind of like Lilo and Stitch did, almost no American movie can bring out anything in me like Clannad did and deliver it just as well. Lilo and Stitch can be good because the animated one gives us time to see how things develop and such. And that's what made it good. It wasn't as profound or impactful as Clannad, but it was better. Let's see, hold on here. Darn, can't get this up right now. Oh well. We'll just try and do that part later. But the question of the day is up now for you all, so we can get through that while waiting. And it was extreme sports like skydiving or bungee jumping. So that's a repeat, I believe, and no, I haven't done that. Like, in some ways, it kind of interests me, those, but I just think it's more impressive to watch them, the extreme sports and that. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get through the links and then go through what I was trying to do here earlier. Okay. But yeah. So I was saying, Lilo and Stitch just delivers its message in animated format way better than it did in the live action. And Nani just kind of frustrates me. They changed her way too much. Like, I get that she's stressed in that, but animated Nani never took her stress out on Lilo, and that makes her a bit better in that regard. Whereas Nani just, in the live action, just doesn't do that. You don't get that bonding time or progression like you do with them. All I remember being memorable of live action Lilo and Stitch is the chaos of Stitch in live action. But of course, also keep in mind that I just have a better, I feel more connected to characters in animated format. It's kind of like give me a book versus a TV show. I can empathize and everything with a character in a book way easier than I could in a show. And I guess another thing that I liked about the animated version was Lilo's doll. It exists in both, but I can see how people say that her interactions with the doll are like more character defining. I could actually see that. Like, yes, there are videos showing how impactful it is, but seeing it for myself in the context of the movie, you can really get it. Still, like I said, in terms of importance of family and finding it, nothing beats Clannad in how it delivers things. Alright, got that squared away. Let me try again about what I was trying to do over here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do my usual and take this chance to get a drink. Okay. Alright. There we go. Alright. Now, I'm gonna take this chance to get a drink, and then I'll come back and get things set up. If you need something to do while waiting, you can answer today's question of the day. If you don't see it, the command in the title of the stream that's present in the title of the stream while I'm live should bring it up for you, and I will check on that when I get back to. Alright, I'm back. Looks like I didn't miss anything, so let me switch things on over, and then I will bring up the game and we can get started. Alright, here we are. Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? I'm doing good here, like I said. Watched Lilo and Stitch this week, both the original animated version and live action. I liked both of them, but I liked the animated version more. I gave my reasons earlier, so I don't feel like going through with it. Do that again, because I just want to get to this. And in the last game session, we had enough information that we should have an idea of who the last of the three wolves are. Two of them are still alive, but we know one of them for sure. The last one, we only have an idea. I'm not going to say what my idea is, though, because if you guys who are watching the previous parts, you should have that same idea as me too. And I'm just doing this so you guys have a bit of mystery too, at least as far as the story is concerned. So let's get on with this.
いいよ。もうおやっさん大丈夫だろ。
Alright. It's fine, he's better now.
いや、
Actually,
みーけ。
found it. To my surprise, the hunting rifle was placed against the dining hall's wall. But
ボルトどこやった？
where's the bolts?
霧の中に投げちゃった。
I threw them into the mist. Kanza-san grunted in displeasure, snatched the gun from Mochi, and went off into the
なん
mist.
か、ダメだな。
Man, I'm no good. She chuckled emptily. There were still dry lines of tears down her cheeks.
いや、正解だ。バラすのは必要だったし、完全になくなってたらお前が持ってったと勘違いしかねないからな。
It's fine. We had to take it apart, and if it weren't completely missing, we'd have assumed you took it with you.
私が？ああ、凶器として？
Me? Oh, as a weapon?
ああ。変な疑いがかかってもつまらんだろ。
Yeah, I wouldn't want to draw suspicion, right?
もう、嫌だな。疑ったり、疑われたり。早く霧が晴れればいいのに。
Man, this is such a pain. I'm tired of walking on eggshells. Can't the mist just go away already?
心配せずとも、明日には目処がつこう。
Don't worry, everything will come to an end tomorrow.
じゃあ、俺も引き上げだ。みんな、おやすみ。
Yeah, I'm going then. Good night. As he left, Takumi-san lightly tapped my
回
shoulder.
復は奇跡的だっつってたぞ、キヨは。
Kyo said your recovery was a miracle.
大事にしろよ。
Don't waste it. Gave my shoulder a firm squeeze and left. Of course. I would do whatever I could to survive.
僕もこれで。
I'm going to. Faisuyu, Kisan, good
ア
night.
ルアキさん、本当気をつけてね。
Aruaki-san, be careful.
おやすみ。
Yeah, good night. Rikako-san didn't speak or even look at me until the very end. I crossed my legs and sat down on my futon. I wasn't tense anymore, probably because I was used to it or because I wouldn't die tomorrow. I just didn't feel like sleeping, even though I actually felt really good. Why had I survived? Was it really Asionite? Even I'd heard that real Asionite poisoning was lethal. It probably is, and like, I wouldn't doubt it. A lot of poisons are deadly. That's why they're poisons, and the reason why we had toxicology come up to understand the poisons that eventually developed into modern day medicine. But the thing is, like, at times, you kind of have to keep in mind that they all have different means of it. That's actually another point of toxicology, just discovering the means by which it does it. Like, I heard that arsenic, the way that it preserves bodies, is also the way it ultimately kills you. But it just depends on this kind of poison. I haven't really looked into it. I haven't really looked into a lot of stuff. I just know that things like cyanide are generally like asphyxiants of some kind, though it's probably hypoxia more so. What if it was actually some weird poison that just made it seem like you were dying, then fully recovered afterwards? I'm not too sure about that point there. Like, there could be a poison like that. A pharmacologist or a toxicologist would be able to say for sure. But in my mind, I'm like, poisons developed to protect plants and such. And so they are meant to be deadly in that. So, it would be a weird poison to me. That kind of trick would be kicked out of the Rookie of the Year Mystery Novel Award in the prep reading.
それは逆だね、オリブ安永君。誰でも見えたのだから、怪しい動きをすれば誰かが気づいたはず、と考えるべき。
That's the wrong way to look at it. Yasunaga Oribe-kun, everyone could see it. So if something strange happened, everyone would have noticed.
こんなバレバレの状況で母さんが殺人を犯すメリットがあれば言ってください。
What be the point of her killing someone in that situation? I could relate to them both. Kinosuke, she was right. That was unlikely to be pure coincidence. And Yasunaga-kun was right that it was an unlikely risk to take for someone who didn't need to. All this thinking about who done it and why made me feel like I was in some mystery novel. Well, yeah, it does kind of have that feel, and this story can be misleading into a whodunit because each of the loops, they are like, who is the wolf this time and that? But as we're going on, it seems to be much more of a what is going on kind of thing, because we've got the supernatural involved here. And that's kind of what I'm more interested in. Although figuring out the wolves is interesting. Though since I could easily dispel all the suspicions on Kaori-san, I could more or less see how it was. The very premise was wrong, so I knew exactly what I had to do today. I took out my notepad, wrote down the names Yoshisugu Oribe, and put it near my pillow. Suddenly there was a knock on my door. It quickly became tense again. Visitor? Now? Right after I almost died? I decided what to do after seeing their face. But then I realized this hut didn't have any way for me to look outside the door. However, there were spaces between the boards of the door, most likely warped by changes in humidity. I peeked outside through them. Chiemi? Another knock. Who is it? I went ahead and asked.
私、芹沢千恵美。
It's me, Chiemi Serizawa.
何の用？
What is it?
聞きたいことがあって、その。
I want to ask something,
なんだろう。というか、物意味をしなきゃなんないんじゃないの？外は危ないかもしれないし、大丈夫？
Well, ask away. Shouldn't you be sheltering right now? It's dangerous outside, isn't it? Sure you should be here? Are those the kind of questions that you should be asking right now? Like, it makes sense in this situation that he's asking them and what he knows, because as far as I know, he only knows the two wolves that have been revealed, the one that had died and one of the two remaining wolves, because the keys are his knowledge. But I'm not too sure if he sees it right now. He probably does, depending on what kind of narrator he is, but who knows.
私は大丈夫。まだみんなその辺をブラブラしてるし。ドア越しでいいから、ちょっといいかな。
See, okay, there's still people walking around. Can we talk? I don't mind if it's through the door.
いいけど。
Sure.
私、何もできてないなって。
I realized that I can't do anything.
私、落ちこぼれでね。子供の頃から、ここのみんなに迷惑ばっかかけてて。
I'm a huge failure. I've been causing trouble for everyone here ever since I was little.
だから必死で勉強して、大学受かって、外に出たんだよ。
That's why I studied hard, entered a college, and went outside the village.
知ってる？安水の人間はね、大学行くか、出稼ぎ行くかしか外に出られないんだ。
Did you know the only way people from Yasumizu can leave is either going to college or finding work somewhere else?
いや、知らないな。出稼ぎに行く人もいたんだ。
I didn't actually. You have people who work away from home? That's a new thing for me too, but it kind of makes sense.
うん。匠兄ちゃんも一度は外に出てたよ。お父さんとお母さんも外にいるし。
Yeah, Takumi-chan left once. His mom and dad are outside too.
そうなんだ。
News to me.
お父さんあんまり体良くないみたいだから、たまに外に行ってるよ。
Yeah, his dad is sickly, so he goes outside every now and then.
逆になんで彼はこっちに？
Then why is he here?
8年前の事故。いや、読み意味の宴だったのかな。たくさん人
the incident. No, the feast 8 years ago killed a lot of people and he returned to help clean up, but
ぶっちゃけ、休みずに残った人だけじゃ回らなくなっちゃってね。タイばあちゃんも頼りにしてたし、それで。
the people that were still alive weren't enough for Yasumizu to function. Taiba-chan depended on him too, so he,
なるほど。それで匠さんは前の宴を知らなかったってわけだ。他の人たちも上藤吉に行ってたんだっけ？
I see. That's why Takumi-san didn't know about the last feast. The rest were in Kamifujiyoshi, right? Yeah.
勘蔵さんと狼じじい氏以外は休みずにはいなかった。
So no one besides Kanzo-san and the old wolf guy were here.
そういえば、はるちゃん。
Oh yeah, Haru-chan.
はるちゃんは夜中寂しがって一人で抜け出したんだ。お泊まり学校。それで山道を抜けて。
Haru-chan was so lonely at night that she left the school we were staying at all by herself, that she went through the mountain path and...
じゃあ、休みずに入ったの？
Huh? She was in Yasumizu too?
わからない。大人は休みずの手前で見つけたって言ってたけど、みんな休みずで何か見たんじゃないかって噂して。
I don't know. The adults said they found her in front of Yasumizu, and there were rumors she saw something there.
そのせいかわかんないけど、それでしばらくはるちゃんおかしくなっちゃって、みんな狼つきとか噂して。
I don't know if that's the reason why, but she started acting weird afterwards. People said he was possessed by a wolf. It came as no surprise, but Chiemi still had info that I didn't know of. Had Haru-chan caught a glimpse of the feast? But that would mean that she too survived the feast of the Omi Purge. As things were, there was no way to leave Yasumizu when it was engulfed by the mist, and I didn't know if you could enter it, but it was natural to think you couldn't leave after doing so. Thinking rationally, she shouldn't have made it to Yasumizu in the first place, but her possession. If she'd seen something in the mist without ever making it to Yasumizu, could she have become afflicted with some trauma or something divine because of it?
そうか。落ちてきたか。幾度かやり直しておるな。
I see, so you rose. You have tried again several times, have you not? If I wanted to find out more about her, it was too late for that this time. I could have been wrong, of course. There was probably a lot more info for me to find, not to mention I couldn't go back unless I died. Also, I decided to save the humans so I would see it through to the end. Of course, that included her.
ごめん。それはともかく、どうして役立たずだなんて思うの？
Sorry, anyway, why did you think you're useless?
だって投票だってうまくできないし、やすくんやたくみ兄ちゃんみたいにいろいろ考えることもできない。
I mean, I can't vote right, nor can I think like Yasuku-kun or Takumi-ni-chan.
よしくんも野里さんでさえもできることをしっかりやってるのに。
Yasuku and even Nasato-san are doing whatever they can.
僕としては、君がいたからこそ、全員が心理的な一線を越えずに済んだんじゃないかって思ってるけど。
If you ask me, you're the reason why no one crossed certain mental lines.
どういうこと？
What do you mean?
もちろん僕らは人を殺してしまったし、不当に人を裁くことにも慣れてしまった。すでに狂ってる、とも言えるかもしれない。
We grew accustomed to killing and unfairly punishing each other in a way we're already
それで
insane.
も、怒りや恨みや悲しみに任せて、人を殺せば必ず後で後悔したろうし、もっとひどい状況だってあり得た。
Still, we'd surely regret it if we killed people purely for revenge, and we were absolutely in danger of doing
僕
that.
は君が、そういうのだけは避けたくて、心を砕いてきた。って、そう勝手に思ってたけどな。
And I kind of think that you've been racking your brain trying to avoid that at all costs. That's how it seems to me anyway. Did I miss the mark?
ごめんね。別に、ちえみちゃんの理解者を気取るつもりじゃなかったんだ。
Sorry, I don't mean to act like I know everything about
人
you.
には向き不向きはあるし、ついでに僕は、君がちゃんとみんなのためになってると。
I'm just saying that people have what they're good and bad at, and I think that you're a valuable asset in your own.
春明さん。
Haruaki-san. What? All of a sudden her voice cracked briefly, weighed down with sorrow.
なんでそんな優しいの？役立たずじゃん、私。春明さんが倒れた時も泣くばっかで。
What? Why are you so nice? I'm useless even when you collapsed, all I could do was cry.
いっそ言ってよ。お前、ただの邪魔だって。死ねばいいのにって。
Just say it. Tell me I'm in your way and that I should
誰
die.
が喜ぶわけでもないのに、心にもないことを言いたくはないな。
Why would I say something I don't mean? It wouldn't help anyone.
言ってよ。嫌いになれないじゃん。
Say it. I can't hate you if you don't. Why do you want that, Chiemi?
好きだよ。春明さん。
I love you, Haruaki-san.
もう、いろいろ耐えらんないよ。
I can't bear it anymore. This wasn't an admission of love. It was an SOS, if not a plea for death.
君は、ふるさとのことが嫌い？
Do you hate your home? I
ふ
do.
るさとのみんなも？
Everyone here
大
too.
嫌い。
I hate them so
そ
much.
んなことはないはずだろ。
As if that's
だ
true.
ってここには、私の居場所なんてないもの。
But there's no place for me here. In the end, she was someone who'd abandoned in Yasumizu. Even if there was space for her to live, she just couldn't adjust to that way of life, and her thinking was no longer that of a Yasumizu inhabitant. However, moving away didn't solve all her problems either. She saw a glimmer of hope in her homeland and returned here, so I assumed. But she didn't get what she wanted and suffered in vain, and to top it all off, she is caught up in the feast. It must have been incredibly painful. So that was why she treated me so nicely when we first met. There must have been a profound emptiness in her heart. But I couldn't return those feelings during this loop. I'd already accepted someone.
勝ってるよ。リカ子さん、可愛いもんね。まさか、超能力まであるって知らなかったけど。
I get it. Rikako-san is cute, isn't she? I had no idea she had superpowers too,
超
though.
能力？
Superpowers?
人を引き取ったんだって。だから春明さんは助かったんだって。
She took away your poison, that's why you survived.
かな一個ないの。
It's amazing. I don't stand a chance against that.
ちえみちゃんは十分魅力的だよ。
You're charming too, you know.
じゃあ付き合ってよ。
Then go out with me.
一緒に遊んでよ。手を握ってよ。タンデムでずっと遠くまで連れてってよ。布団の中で一日中ギュッてしててよ。
Play with me, hold my hand, take me on a bike ride far away, let me spend all day sleeping in your arms.
このドア、開けてよ。
Open this door. Man, this is kind of hitting tough here. In this kind of situation, you shouldn't open the door. Though, of course, even I probably would with her in tears like this, so if he does, I wouldn't blame him. It's just smart-wise, you wouldn't open the door in this situation. I could do that, but that would be an empty gesture. Being granted false hope and only led to greater despair. Being granted false hope only led to greater despair. So I didn't open the door. I couldn't. Liar.
嘘ついたかな
I lied.
言葉の上で嘘はつかないで、期待の余地だけ残して、後で全部はしご外して、嘘はついてないって。
Not blatantly, maybe. You let me get my hopes up, then just left me hanging, and now you say you didn't lie? How mean.
ひどい。卑怯者。
So cruel and unfair.
最低だよ。
I'm just awful. I might have underestimated some things here. Trying to save someone you'd given up on was just naive hypocrisy. In the end, you need to be prepared to never see them again. But that only works when you'd been physically separated. I was probably the only refuge she had left, but in the isthmus there was nowhere for her to hide. And for her to be acting like this, it gives me the inkling that she definitely is looping like our protagonist is, combined with everything else that happened around her, like her obviously recognizing us and all that. She could only attack herself in a roundabout manner by criticizing me, and
ちゃんと振ってほしい。
I want you to reject me properly. No matter what happened here, it wouldn't end well. Worst case scenario, she could disappear into the mist again. Could I really write it off as simply drama between a man and a woman? But I'd already decided.
僕は
The moment I opened my mouth.
何をなさってるのですか、芹沢様。
What are you doing here, Serizawa-sama? Rikako-san's voice.
なんでもないよ。ただ、見苦しいところを晒してただけ。
It's nothing. I'm just being pathetic. Alright, so other people are moving about. Alright. Because if there weren't, I would probably be a little mad at this point. Not too mad, but just a little.
夜は物意味を。それに夫妻子様は火のカゴ車で。命を狙われてもいる状態です。
Night is for
足りないのではありませんか。
Night is for sheltering, and as the snake Fusaishi is in danger, should you not be more considerate?
リカ子さんだって出歩いてんじゃん。
You're walking around too.
私は、植松の身を
As an
の野蛮をしている。
as an Uematsu, I must perform what nightly patrols I
そん
can.
なのただの言い訳じゃん。しなくたって誰か死ぬときは死ぬし、何か出たってリカ子さんどうするの？
That's just an excuse. Someone will die regardless, and what could you do if something did happen
そ
anyway?
れは、リカ
I,
子さんだって、狼かどうか本当はわかんないじゃん。
even you could be a wolf, right? Well, logically, yes, but based around her behaviors, no, she can't, and I think she got kind of confirmed to be human. And Yoshisugu, behavior-wise, is likely human too. Like, those things could be wrong, yes, but if they're true, and we already know who one of the remaining wolves are for sure, then that's very telling.
ちえみちゃん、やめるんだ。
Stop it, Chiemi-chan.
植松家のご当主で、美人で、人格者で、ここじゃ人望ないかもだけど、みんな本当はあなたが善人だって思ってるし。
The head of the Uematsu family, a beauty, a woman of character. You're not very popular in Yasumizu, but everyone here thinks you're a good person.
富士吉じゃ、みんなから尊敬されてて、崇拝されてて、居場所がしっかりあって。でもそんなの関係ないよね。
In Kami Fujiyoshi, you're actually respected and revered. You have a place to return to, but none of that matters, does
ち
it?
えみ、
Chiemi,
呼び捨てにしないでよ。
don't say my name.
リカ子さんだって、狼かもしれないよね。本当は超嫌なやつで、全部演技かもしれないよね。
Rikako-san might be a wolf. She might be a terrible person. This might all be an act. Why are you overreacting right now, Chiemi?
私は、人です。
I am human.
みんなそう言うしかないんだよ。それを信じてもらえるかどうかじゃん。超能力とかさ。
Anyone can say that. What matters is whether you can get someone to believe you and you used superpowers.
そんなの絶対信じてもらえるに決まってるじゃん。愛してもらえるに決まってるじゃん。
Of course everyone will believe you. Of course he'll love you.
そんなの、叶うわけないじゃん。
I don't stand a chance against that.
私が持ってないものを全部持ってて、春明さんまで取ってくなんて。ひどいよ。ひどいよ。ずるいよ。
You have everything I don't have. You even took Haruaki-san. That's just too cruel and unfair. Except story-wise in this loop, we haven't interacted with you too much. You've only done things that solidify that the loops are definitely canon, and that you're also someone that's looping. That's the only things that have been established. But so far, you aren't looping, Chiemi. Then she wasn't taken from you. She didn't want to hurt Rikako-san. She only wanted to hurt herself. But as one who could do nothing but hurt her, I couldn't say anything.
勘違いをされていますね。
You are misunderstanding me.
何が？
How?
春明様は、私に、一瞬の望みをくださっただけ。
Haruaki-san was
胸をお貸しくださっただけ。
Haruaki-sama simply gave me hope. He merely lended his chest to me.
むしろ、私の浅ましい望みを、春明様は拒まれました。
In fact, he refused my...
こういう盛大に。
In fact, he refused my indecent request. Even as he was dying, he clearly rejected me. Well, yes, he did, but as far as I know, you did that in front of a lot of people, including a child, which you shouldn't have done. But then again, we don't have all the details. That's the only thing that can be assumed from the data we've been given. We just don't know if that's the correct interpretation.
男女の何もありはせず、これからもありはしません。
There's nothing between us and never will be.
嘘だ。適当にごまかしてるだけだ。
You're lying. You're just playing it
む
off.
しろ、私には何もない。植松家の家紋と、歴史と、信仰と、
Rather, I am
それを背負った
the...
だけの
Rather, I'm the one who has nothing. I am a hollow woman, possessing only the Uematsu family's crest, history, and
場
faith.
所だって、ありはしません。私はもう、よすがに取り付く手も足も、
I do not have a place of my own either. I do not even have the power to cling to salvation.
心身の一辺に至るまで、神内様の名のもとに、
My
ひどい
entire
してしまった。
body and mind was sold off to Shinai-sama.
どういうことなの？
What do you mean?
霧が晴れたら、残った証文も片付けて、メイコをよその警察にでも預けたら、どこへなりと流れて、
Once the mist
所
clears,
存です。
once the mist clears, I intend to finish my business here and Mako to the police. Let the flow take me away from here and accept where I end
し
up.
かしあなたは違う。
But you're different.
霧が晴れたら、きっと安水は芹沢様を受け入れる。あなたの明るさと
Once the mist,
心遣いは、
once the mist clears,
皆様の希望となる。
once the mist clears, Yasumizu will surely accept you. Your cheerfulness, strength, and consideration gives everyone hope.
芹沢様の居場所は、ここです。
This is where you belong, and I have. This is where you belong, and This is where you belong, and I have no such place.
そして、夫妻様の居場所は、ここ以外のどこか。
And Fusaishi-sama belongs elsewhere.
富士吉村に生まれた私たちは、彼と添い遂げることなど、夢見るべきではなかったのです。
As those born in Fujiyoshi, we cannot dream of spending our lives with him.
さあ、戻りましょう。お部屋まで。
Let us
お
go
願いいた
back.
します。
Let us go back. I'll take you to your room.
嘘だよ。意味わかんないよ。
No, I don't get you at all.
そんなに難しいもんじゃないよ。付き合ってるなら付き合えばいいじゃん。好きなだけ、なんだってすればいい。
It's not that complicated. If you love each other, then date and do whatever you want.
それはね、できないのです。
I cannot do that anymore. Why?
その通りだ。
She's right. Yeah. Kako had my thanks. She gave me the best way to deal with
大
this.
師様、
Fusaishi-sama?
植松家のご当主に対して、読み意味の宴と、藤吉村のことで、聞かなきゃならないことがある。
I want to ask the head of the Uematsu something about the feast in
ただ
Fujiyoshi.
し、この戸は開かない。
However, I won't open the door.
ちえみちゃんは、帰ってくれ。
Jamie-chan, you can go now.
嘘。
No way.
これを信じてもらえないなら、どうにしたって、君とはダメだった。
If you don't believe that much, we wouldn't have worked out
じゃあ
anyway.
一緒にいる。
Then I'll stay here.
君は、自分の昔の男性遍歴を詮索されるときに、他人が同席したらどう思う？
What would you think if someone sat in and listened as you went over your history with men?
わかった。帰る。
Alright, I'm going. I had no idea if she really understood, or understood it the way I intended. But she could probably tell that we were about to speak about something unpleasant.
村木さん、霧が晴れたら、最後は、ちゃんとしてね。
Araki-san, once the mist clears, do what you have to do and do it right. Backing down was part of a proper breakup.
おやすみなさい。
Good night. I could hear her walk off, then nothing.
植松さん、
Uematsu-san,
一つ、謝らせてください。
let me apologize for one
な
thing.
んでしょう？
あの
Yes,
時は、お見苦しいところをお見せしました。
I showed you something unsightly
こ
earlier.
んな時じゃなきゃ、 嬉しい状況でしたけどね。
If we weren't in this situation, I'd have actually loved that. So,
やめて。ください。
please don't say that. It made the mood less tense, but wasn't quite enough.
じゃあ、真面目に聞きます。あれはそういう演技なんですか？
Then I'll just ask, was that an act or something?
あるいは、植松家の務めを果たす際の仮面とでも言うものとか。
Or mask you wore when you had to fulfill your role as Uematsu? Yeah, alright. I couldn't hear. No, I could hear a
返
gasp.
事
You knew?
だったのですか？
That response proved my assumption was correct. Bedroom woman servant. I should have questioned the lewdness, the derogatory nature of that term a bit earlier. The Uematsu were the Fujiyoshi head family in charge of the night, including the secret matters related to it. They weren't just the night watch and people in charge of funerals, they also handled the nightly affairs of men and women. That meant they were Fujiyoshi's local sexual service providers. Yeah. Well, anyone in their mind could kind of piece that together along with what Rikako was doing. As the head of the family, Rikako-san obviously knew how to handle such things. If I had to guess, all the Uematsu girls were given such a role. Also, I imagined that taking in the poison and corruption was closely related to bodily intimacy. I didn't know much about historic Japan's idea of medicine, but I knew about the Chinese idea that lovemaking and health were closely tied together. I didn't know about that, and I'm not too sure how accurate it is because as far as I know of the Chinese side of medicine, they were like herbs and herbal teas and that. So, somebody that is more familiar with medical history in general would probably know about that better than I would. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's true a lot of the times. After all, they do speak of myths that actually exist, like not myths that are true and true to fiction. It's just that they talked about myths and how they relate to the real world and how you can use them to figure out history. So that's why I wouldn't be too surprised here. Well, even if it wasn't something like that, knowing the human body, they could have easily formed the logic that it released negative energy. Spiders ate their prey by melting their insides and sucking them out, and boy, that wasn't that fitting. There was also the Joragumo, the orb-weaving spiders who shared their name with a yokai that was linked to many lustful stories. In the West, the female spiders that ate their males were called widows, and the Black Widow was extremely poisonous. Unnerving, elegant, and sexy at the same time, spiders were unique creatures that created webs they used to catch their prey and consumed them by melting them with poison. I could understand why equating them with evil women and enchanting ladies was so universal. And just now, I practically asked her if she was that. Well, that was kind of an interesting read there. At the widows, there was because they ate them. Like, it's not too surprising considering widows means, essentially in our terms, the wife of the relationship is the one left behind and the husband dies, but generally, these days we call women that kill their husbands and such as black widows. It doesn't matter what they are. Actually, they're just all generalized like that because it's named after the Black Widow spider itself. And just now, I practically asked her if she was that. I was more or less right. Fujiyoshi was once a place where hunters thrived, attracting many outsiders, a lot of whom were rowdy. To keep them from going after the local women, Fujiyoshi had to train specialists with the right set of skills. The Uematsu gained influence by placing their own relatives in that role. Also, prior to that, the Uematsu had some religious significance, turning their monopolization of sex into a sanctified act. Their influence must have spread to birth and child-rearing as well, and the yoke of tradition made them very powerful. The Uematsu successfully gained control of the darkness most living people encountered by donning the filthy title of bedroom woman servants and facing the darkness head-on. The Migurama controlled through the public side of faith and politics. The Higuchi handled food and smithing and new info. Yeah, I didn't catch the smithing part, but not too surprised there. Well, the Nasato handled medicine among other fields. I'd wondered where the Uematsu came in, and now it all made sense. But as time passed and their family business ceased having a place in modern society, their influence began to decline. War, the drop in demand for hunting, and the spread of diseases from the outside made the Uematsu lose relevance. And the final descendants of the family had neither the originality nor zeal to adapt to the times and survive.
私たちはその経緯からして血筋を守ることを重視しませんでした。
Because of our role, we did
あり
not.
ませんでした。
Because of our role, we did not consider protecting the bloodline to be important.
植松の娘がこうなせば、それが新たな植松。植松の教えと秘義と、いくつもの不条理な掟に従う者が。
If an Uematsu girl gave birth, a child would be an Uematsu, regardless of who fathered it. They would be taught the family's teachings, rites, some absurd laws, and become true Uematsu. So that's probably how you came about, huh? That actually seems a bit sad to me. Because I think, and a lot of people probably agree with me, that children shouldn't be bound to this kind of thing.
当主は必ず女が務め、それもまた、ネヤのはしためとして務めました。
The head would always,
当主です。
yeah. The head would always be a woman who also worked as a bedroom woman servant, and if she had a daughter, that daughter would be the new head. Okay, so it's a matriarchal kind of inheritance. It is interesting.
しかし娘が生まれなければ、よくできた別の娘が、当主を継ぐこともありました。
But if she did not, a different qualified girl would inherit the role.
植松は、血でなく、思想で結束していた。
The Uematsu were bound not by blood, but ideals.
その思想が藤吉に否定されれば、私たちは、春日井を描いた屋台骨のようなもの。
And if Fujiyoshi rejected them, we would be a hollow shell of our former
そ
selves.
して、養子縁組など、他の三家が望むはずもありませんでしょう。
And it is not like any of the other three families would want to merge with us. The head of the spider's family, the priestess of the spider, had a dark background befitting that title. And the future was bleak for her as well. The Uematsu were an unnatural relic of the past, and by cutting them off, the other three families would be able to further modernize themselves. Despite no chance of the family recovering, Rikako Uematsu was born into an unenviable position and grown to be another bedroom woman's servant. That whole thing makes me wonder what the male side of things would be like. Because if it's a matriarchal setup in that the woman's the head, and women fall into this kind of routine, then what if it's a boy that is born? Like, we know that the boy is considered a new Uematsu, of course, by what was said, but what comes about of them? I wasn't capable of claiming I could understand her. It wasn't an exaggeration to say we lived in different worlds. It would have been absurd to even claim I could take on her despair.
春之様。
You are truly gentle. I couldn't understand what she meant at all, so I thought about it for a few seconds before I would ask.
こんなことを聞いても、汚らわしい目やのはしためと、罵ることもされず、
You heard
水
all
をか
that.
けることもされず、
You heard all that, yet you did not curse me as filthy or talk me down. Well, it would be understandable if people do, but such people kind of annoy me and such. I probably can't say that I'm like much better with my kind of perspective and things than that, so I can't say that I'll be any better, but I try to just accept people for who they are and such. After all, one thing I've noticed about myself is that most of the time, women are the ones that kind of go down that path than that. Like, generally it would make sense for the man to be more in a position to view it like that. And I'm not saying that all women are gonna be like that, but in terms of, like, say, me and conversing with a woman, it is the woman that usually goes down this route. So it's kind of funny. At least in terms of that kind of judgment.
ですが、その優しさが辛い。いっそ足ざまに罵っていただければ、諦めがつこうというもの。
But this gentleness hurts. If you simply curse me, I would find it much easier to give up.
芹沢様のお気持ちが、今なら理解できます。
I think I understand how Serizawa-sama feels now. Alright. This is not kind of what I was expecting it to give me a choice at. Like, I have kind of seen some stuff about what the choices are, but this just isn't what I imagined it to be. So let's see what it gives us since we have to go this route. Why did the locals think it natural to put themselves down and give up on what they wanted? Was it common for local breakups to be considered the woman's responsibility? Or were men the ones who dumped while women simply continued pining or something? Well, it could be either way, but the person that feels strongly about the dumping should be the one to do it, or if they're even contemplating. It doesn't matter if you're man or woman in this regard. Was it a custom? All I'd say to that was eat shit. But perhaps the ones making the mistake were the ones who fell in love with girls like that.
これでもう
Is that enough?
最後にいいですか？
Can I ask just one more thing?
はい。
Yes.
あなたは長者として読み耳の宴の秘密に一切関わってませんか？
You're a family head. Do you have anything to do with the secrets behind the feast?
はい。
No.
身車が何を考えているかはわかりません。ネヤのはしためなど取るに足りぬと思っているのでしょう。
I do not know what the Migurama are thinking, but the bedroom woman servants must be of no value to them. This is kind of an interesting statement here, because the Migurama are still a big mystery. Like, I think we knew that they were involved in farming and such, but we met the Higuchi, we met the Nisato, and we met Rikako, who is an Uematsu, but we never encountered a Migurama, at least yet. So I wonder if we'll finally encounter one.
なら、どうして僕を逃がしてくれるなんて確信を持って言えたんですか？
Then why were you so certain you could let me escape? The silence wasn't too long.
私は迷信にまみれた過去の血族の末裔です。
I am a descendant of an old family that lived in
その
superstition.
力をもってしてあなたの病毒を引き取りました。
I used my powers as such to take in your
その
poison.
力をもってすればあなた一人を逃がすくらいはできるかもしれない。
I thought that perhaps I could use it to let you
そ
escape.
のように思っただけです。
There's nothing more to it. That made sense. And now that she used divinity as a basis, there was no room for me to
こ
argue.
れで
Is that enough?
はい。ありがとうございました。信じました。
Yes, thank you, I believe you.
じゃあ、明日会えることを願いつつ、眠ることとしましょうか。
I guess it's time to sleep. Hope we see each other again tomorrow.
春明様は死ぬことはございません。
You shall not die tonight. How can you say that with confidence? Are you gonna get Mako to protect him? Is that what's gonna go on?
神内様から賜りし雲の加護があなたを守りますから。
The spider sent to us by Shinai-sama will protect you. She was basically saying that she would
あ
protect
なた
me.
が言うと、怖いくらいハマってますね。
When you say that, it's strangely believable. Huh?
いえ、なんでもないです。メイコによろしく。
Nothing. Give my regards to Mako.
なぜ
Certainly. Huh? Why?
明日、改めてお願いすると思いますが、 僕が頼んだら、本当のことを言ってください。
I'll probably mention this again tomorrow, but if I ask you, please tell the truth.
それで、このゲームを終わらせます。
That will end this game.
その時に、もしあなたがいなかったら、僕がメイコを警察に連れて行きますよ。
If you're not with us at that point, I will take Mako to the police.
ありがとう。信じて。
Thank you, I believe you. That was the end of that. Still behind the door, she gave me a boring goodbye and left. Remarkably fatigued, I collapsed onto the futon. It was pretty thin, so the hard floor below hurt my shoulders, but I couldn't be bothered to even react. Did I actually just break up with 2 women in one evening? It hadn't even been that long since I'd broken up with Mitsuji, and I'd already made a habit of it. I'd gone on a trip because of a breakup only to find more of them. If I couldn't escape, maybe I'd be happiest if I just came in through Saranaga like last time and enjoyed some time with Jamie. Or was there a better path to take now? I couldn't tell anymore. Wolves were out and about tonight, yet here I was thinking about this stuff. Was something wrong with my head? Well, there probably was, but this wrongness was different. Still, I saw how things would go. There was one thing that bothered me, though. Would Rikako-san survive? That question, no worry, remained floating in my brain. I tried to let go of my consciousness. Human. Wait, what? Did we automatically do that? $5:16, huh? Nothing I woke up to came to me as a surprise. I hadn't died. I'd known it'd be that way. All that remained was figuring out how to end things. I merely had to find a compromise between what was happening and what I felt. No, there were 2 more things to consider. The wolves could go out of control before the feast even began, and I didn't know who I had to mourn today. It was 5 in the morning and everything was still covered in mist. I could see things better than at night, but not by a whole lot. Was Kanzo-san patrolling again? He was no longer like he had been yesterday morning, so I could hope that he was, but he no longer had a gun. The fact that he, a confirmed human, was patrolling like that was actually pretty good for us. I carefully took a step forward. The wolves were liable to appear from the mists at any moment, so I snuck around just in case. However, this was a world of mist and ominous silence. As I walked, the grass swayed and the crunching of the gravel felt loud enough to be heard by the entire village. In fact, even the sound of my heartbeat was deafening. To hell with this, I had to pull myself together. If they were coming, I surely would have heard them too. I just had to stand still to know if I was in danger. I didn't hear anything. There was no one. Or perhaps everyone was hiding. As I began suspecting that a murderer was about to pop out of the nearby bushes, I stopped running. I went to the side of the road and hid myself. I carefully thought about the situation. If you looked at the feast as a game, the judges were mostly uninvolved in its progression, leaving it to the players. They only dispensed supernatural deaths to those who killed more than one, or humans who walked around at night. It was really minimal intervention. On the other hand, though, that didn't mean they would stick to the rules and keep the number of victims under 2. And so far, the sides that were cornered tried to kill people even if it meant getting the death penalty. It happened every time. In other words, observance of the rules wasn't valued, meaning that having more deaths than allowed was not a problem. Not only were the humans unprotected, but the wolves who sought justice in the real story were entirely capable of disregarding the corruption to commit murder. Looking at it that way, I had no idea what the Game Master, Great Lord Shinai, was trying to accomplish. Did he just want to see bloodshed? In that case, why the roundabout method? He was the god of the mountain, the corruption was his law, the Yomibito were the enemy, but it wasn't clear whether the ones sent to Yomi were the humans or wolves. It made so little sense. If the corruption was the power of Yomi, it wasn't even clear where the boundary between the mountain and Yomi was. In other words, it was safe to think that the mountain and Yomi were the same thing. Shinai was both the mountain and Yomi, a two-faced god who split Fujiyoshi people worshipping into two opposing factions on a whim. I can't place my finger on it. I want to say it's Shiva, but it's one of the but I'm being reminded of like one of the Hindu gods that are two-faced because they represent two different sides. His aim was this very bloodshed. The mist, the village, everything here was like a coliseum to him. A haunting ground, basically. I had to be overthinking things. However, the fact that the rules weren't strict and the punishment wasn't swift created an opening. There was probably a way to clear the game with minimal casualties. I had to make it through this situation, though. I made a gamble. After taking a deep breath, Gah! I screamed at the top of my lungs, then hid. If Kanza-san or Takumi-san heard it, they were bound to come. If it was a wolf instead, they would make a move, wondering why something serious happened without their knowing. They couldn't catch me off guard if I hid and watched from the shadows. 5 minutes passed, yet I heard nothing. What if everyone was already dead? That was impossible. Maybe they knew what I was thinking and were now planning to ambush me? I was just guessing, but you never knew what could happen in this mist. My next option was to sneak around and look around the whole village. I would move swiftly and in short bursts. I'd make noise for sure, but it would also make it harder for any other potential lurkers to find me. The Okiba were large and had decent amounts of space between them, making them good hiding places. I ran and hid. Then I held my breath. Nothing was happening. Not thinking much about it, I repeated the process. I ran and hid, then stayed quiet. I ran and hid. What the Yoshisugu? Raw! Yoshisugu popped out of the stone I was aiming for and charged at me. I jumped to the side. A wood-cutting axe slashed through the place I was just standing in. Fuck!
待て、僕だ。落ち着け。
No, wait, it's me, calm down.
てめえか、クソが。
You fuck. Then he angrily threw the axe away in a random direction and screamed. Fuck, fuck, fuck. No point in sneaking around anymore. But this made me understand something. His rage could only mean one thing.
昨晩、やられたのは
Was the one who died last night. Fuck, fuck. After waiting for him to calm down a bit, we began walking together, no longer trying to hide it at all. If he'd made so much noise and survived regardless, it was safe to assume that there would be no ambushes. And even if there was, it would be 2 versus 2. We would be on equal footing. As expected, we made it to the plaza without anything happening. Yoshisugu hadn't said a word the whole way. He was just breathing heavily like when he attacked me, and his eyes were so wide that his agitation seemed to become madness. I'll look. Not waiting for an answer, I went to the dining hall. I was instantly assaulted by a strange reek. We would never eat here again. As I became certain of that fact, my heart sank, which was pretty out of character for me. I took a step forward. The cupboard's glass was completely destroyed, and there were porcelain pieces all over the place. This must have been caused by Yoshisugu-kun's rampage. Her bed was upstairs. I went up carefully just in case, but it didn't feel like there was anyone alive inside. The supports and walls were slightly damaged in places. Yoshisugu-kun had taken it really hard, huh? Even the phone, the only one in the village, was completely broken on the floor. After seeing it, I went further into her room. It was the same. The philosophy behind the murder was the same as Haru-chan's. The bloody footprints are standard at this point. There was no doubt that this was done by wolves. What was different was that it wasn't a clobbering, but a slashing. Kaori Oribei's remains were cut up and drowning in a sea of blood. She hadn't been torn apart or split up randomly. It was best to say that she'd been cut into rings. Her body was lying on its back, covered neck to toe in horizontal slashes. They did make it to the bone, but didn't break through them. Her entire front was cut open like a fish fillet. I couldn't tell whether she died from blood loss or suffocation due to multiple neck injuries, but whichever it was, she'd suffered an awful end. And yet again, for some reason, her face was left completely untouched. She'd clearly vomited lots of blood, and her expression was downright demonic. Had she been conscious while it was happening? Were the faces of the detestable wolves burned into her now dead eyes? Those are good questions there, but what I'm wondering why right now is why kill the crow? Because sure, the crow can identify people like the snake, but the crow can only identify dead people. It can't identify anyone living. So what's the point? I'd see how intense this woman could be, and at this point, a part of me felt like it was the real her. However, no matter how demonic, she was definitely a loving mother to both her 2 sons as well as Yasumizu as a whole. Looking at her reminded me of the Buddhist goddess, Demon Hariti or Kishimojin, no matter how irrelevant that was. And oh boy, it was irrelevant. In Shinai-sama's court, gods on the outside had absolutely no power. Suddenly, I realized that her arms were completely unharmed. Huh? I also noticed that some of the wounds seemed to be facing downwards. The back of the hand was facing upwards, while the palm was facing down, despite the wounds being on the palm. Why? Upon further observation, I noticed something strange about her undamaged hand. Her fingers were in a peculiar position. Her right hand squeezed its pinky and ring finger. Meanwhile, her left was grasping all the fingers except the thumb. Had she been conscious when she'd gotten these wounds? Had she bent her arms and pushed her fingers on the floor into that position? Was it a shape created by her painful absurd end? Or perhaps some sort of message? Yoshisuke-kun had caught up with me, with Yasunaga-kun in tow.
母さん、
Mom,
それだけかよ。
that it?
それだけ？
What are you getting
お
at?
前には僕の気持ちがわかるのか？泣きわめけば納得するのかよ。
You think you understand how I feel? You want me to well or something? Well, yes, it won't help, but you should be grieving right now, since you both care about her.
僕だって悲しいさ。絶望だってしてる。だけど僕は考えなきゃならないんだよ。母さんの無念を晴らすために。
I'm grieving too. This is pure despair, but I need to think so I can avenge her.
よく考えて、よく勉強して偉くなれ。父さんの無念を晴らすために。そう母さんに言われてきたからな。
Mom always told me to think a lot, study a lot, and become a hallmark of excellence so that Dad could rest in
お
peace.
前はいいよな。そんなのなくてさ。好き放題に生きて、母さんにいっぱい構ってもらえて。
I'm jealous of you. You don't have to deal with that. You lived however you wanted, yet you still got all of Mom's attention.
結局、僕はこんな、子供みたいなことにずっとこだわって、延々悩みながら、ここまでやってきた。
In the end, I've been clinging to something so childish my whole life, and always wasted time on such useless thoughts.
それでもいつか、お前が大人になって、母さんも理性的になって、こんなわだかまり全部なくなるだろうって。
But I still thought that all these walls between us would be gone when you grew up and Mom became reasonable.
もう、無理だな。
But that's impossible now.
虚しいよ。
It makes me feel
頼む
empty.
からよ。
Aniki,
そんなこと、言わねえでくれよ、兄貴。
please don't say stuff like that.
もう母ちゃんはいねえんだぞ。俺らがひねくれた時に、なんか言ってくれる母ちゃんは、いねえんだよ。
Mommy's gone. She'd always say something if we were being troublesome, but she's no longer here.
兄貴がひねくれてて、どうすんだよ。
Why are you being troublesome at a time like
僕
this?
は母さんの無念を晴らす。この母さんの指の形が何なのか考えて、割り出して、母さんの仇を打つ。
I will avenge her. I will find out what these fingers mean, understand it, and chase down who did it.
それでお役御免だ。
That will be the end of my involvement with her.
お前のこと好きだったよ。
Mommy loved you. She loved you both.
逆に兄貴にムカついてた。母ちゃんは俺にお前の話ばっかする。俺以外にも、いや、一人の時も。
You know, you always pissed me off too. When we talked, she'd always talk about you. She'd do it with others too. Hell, she'd even talk about you when she's by
寮
herself.
暮らしの兄貴は知らねえだろうけどな。母ちゃんは最近ずっと親父の写真に独り言言ってたんだ。全部お前のだ。
You live in the dorm, so you don't know this, but recently she often talked to Dad's photo and always about you.
嘘だ。
You're lying.
嘘じゃねえ。母ちゃんはお前の方が好きだったんだよ。当たり前だ。兄貴の方がいいに決まってる。
I'm not. She loved you more than me. Of course she did. You're better than me. She loved you both equally, Yoshisugu.
だから母ちゃんは俺にこんなこと 押し付けてよ。
That's why she pushed this shit on me.
チクショー。
Fuck. Suddenly he pushed me aside, went forward, and reached for her body.
何してるんだ。
Hey, what are you doing?
母ちゃん、ごめん、ごめん。
Mommy, I'm sorry. No, I'm so sorry. All choked up, he screamed and opened his dead mother's mouth.
くそ。ね
Shit, it ain't here.
え。よし、すぐやめろ。
Yoshisugu,
何
stop.
か飲み込んでいるのか。
Did she swallow something? Yasunaga-kun's eyes widened at my question while Yoshisugu-kun reached for the wound on her neck.
母ちゃん。
Yeah, Mommy. Yeah. Found it. Found it. What he took out was something small and covered in blood. Cleaned it with his fingers, exposing something transparent. Apparently it was something covered in food wrapping.
兄貴、開けろよ。
Aniki, open
母
it.
ちゃんが死ぬかもしれねえから、その時は死体かっさばけって。
She told me to dig through her body if she died.
そんで、出てきたもんを兄貴に渡せって。
Give what I find to
や
you.
っぱり母ちゃんは兄貴の方が好きだったのが、目覚ましやがれ。
She really did love you more than me. Wake the fuck up. Yoshisugu, Yoshisugu. She loved you both equally.
妻子さん、
Fusaishi-san.
すみません。開いてもらえませんか。
Sorry, but could you...
震えて、ちょっと。
Sorry, but could you open it up for me? My hands are shaking. I felt apologetic. I probably wasn't even supposed to be here in the first place, so I would at least do this much. The wrap had a rolled piece of paper inside. When I unrolled it, I realized just how small it was. There was tiny but legible writing on it. The wrap protected any damage caused by blood or saliva, so I could read it clearly. 1. Rikaku Uematsu. 2. Chiemi Serizawa. 3. Shikamochi Kamoshida. 4. Mako. 5. Other. What is the meaning of this list? Is this her suspects of the wolf? Because how things progressed, Mako has to be the spider. We probably got confirmation that Rikako's a human based on what occurred. Even though we didn't get a choice, that was the only one that was left. So, I wonder who else she's suspecting if this is the wolf list, and my suspicions of it being the wolf list is that we know Mochi is a wolf. So let's see what this is gonna be here. Let's see. Please read this together, you two. I always knew you were concerned about my attitude. I wanted Yasunaga to show what he's capable of somewhere far away from this dreadful place, and I would be too worried if I didn't have Yoshisugu at my side. I came this far with such thoughtlessness, but it doesn't seem like I will survive this night, so please understand this much. I loved both of you more than anything in the world. Please forget everything aside from that and have a fun brotherly life, Mother. That is a sweet message there. So sweet, and shows what I've been saying this whole time, that she loved both her sons. A good mother would love all her children. This wasn't something I could read for them. I just spread it out and put it on the simple dresser on my side.
二人で読むようにとのことだ。僕はここから出るけど、最後に少しだけ、ご遺体に触れることを許してくれ。
It says you two should read it together. I will leave, but before that, let me examine your mother's remains a bit. They didn't say a word and took that as a yes. I walked up to the remains. Again, I checked that the wounds on the palms were facing down. The right hand's thumb, index finger, and middle finger were up, while on the left it was only the thumb. Okay, so thumb, index finger, and middle finger. So that had to be 3 fingers there. And so that's 4. So this has to be important somehow. It's either the number 4 or there's something significant about the fingers. And why I say that is because they're actually saying what the fingers are that are out. I looked into the wound, and Yoshisugu-kun had reached into and extended my finger toward it. I opened it up and examined the cut. There was just one large
な
tube.
るほど。なるほど。
I see, I see.
僕はもういい。下で、他のみんなと待ってる。
I'm done here. I'll wait with everyone else downstairs. So they're gonna make this part a bit more of a mystery too, huh? We'll find out what's going on, though. But we'll get our confirmation of if the idea of who the last remaining wolf is who it was implied to be the last time. Because again, we've already confirmed 2 of the 3 wolves' identities. One of the 2 confirmed is dead. So, that only means that there's only one other possibility. Let's see, Takumi-san was standing at the entrance to the dining hall along with everyone else. He was armed with a farming tool, while Kanza-san had a hunting knife. It was obvious that they'd walked around all of Yasumizu and woke everyone up. Thus, they understood the situation. The Oribe brothers and I missed them because we left our houses earlier than they came to us. They'd probably woken up early because they were worried about their mother. Takumi-san wasn't saying a word. He just cast his eyes down entirely and pursed his lips. He vehemently ignored his urge to run to Kaori-san. As a man who couldn't, or was too late to, become their father, he thought he had no right to step into their family matters. It was a tragedy, from start to finish.
おはようございます。皆さん、こんな時でなんですが、大体全部わかりました。
Good morning, everyone. This might be a bad time for this, but I now understand everything.
二人が降りてきたら、最後の宴を開くことを提案します。
Once they're back, I propose we start the final feast. So this is our big moment right here. In a typical mystery that everyone has in their mind, this would be the start of the resolution, or the denouement. I can't pronounce that well, but this is the start of the revelation feast. If this was the revelation part, if this was a normal whodunit, like most people assume that mysteries are. It would also be that way for the howdunnits and such, though, but so far there's just a lot of questions here that makes me think that this isn't really a whodunit at all. took a whole hour. I didn't hear any loud noises from upstairs the entire time. That was why, when they came downstairs, the red eyes came downstairs with red eyes, we all understood that they'd been quietly crying. Everyone silently agreed with my proposal, and we all went to the hall. We all had our sake, and the eldest among us spoke. We're starting the feast. Yasunaga-kun instantly raised his hand.
いいですか。特に不妻子さん。
May I, Fusaishi-san? I kind of wish that they gave us the usual crowd picture instead of seeing this wall, but let's see what goes on here. So may I, Fusaishi-san? I don't mind. Then
僕は植松里香子と
I declare that Rikaku Uematsu
鴨志田鹿持を
and Shikamochi Kamashita
狼として
are wolves. Huh? Hmm?
待て。植松のことは信じたんじゃなかったのかよ。
Wait, didn't you believe Uematsu? So, we know that he got one of the wolves right. But why does he suspect Uematsu? That's what I want to know. Because Uematsu has to be human. He's probably not going to suspect his brother, who we know nothing about. His brother can be equally as guilty of being the other wolf. But based on behaviors and how he'd react, he can't be. But let's see his reasoning here. So why, wait, didn't you believe even
罪
Uematsu?
である不妻子さんが死にそうなのを見捨てずに助けたということは信用につながりますが絶対じゃない。
Saving the snake, Fusaishi-san, from death made her trustworthy, but not completely.
むしろそれで不妻子さんに取り入り昨晩の蛇の籠による正体確認の対象から逃れられるかもしれない。
In fact, by getting Fusaishi-san on her side, she probably avoided becoming the target of his ability last night. That might have been her intention. Why would that be? And how do you know that? Because even we don't know who he investigated last night. We just know that he wrote down human. Ugh.
確かに、僕は昨晩、吉次君を調べた。
Well, it's true that I investigated Yoshisugu-kun last night. Ah, so now we find out who it is that he did, so... We now know Yoshisugu-kun is definitely human. But why would you rule out Chiemi Yasunaga? That's what I want to know. Because Rikako can't be guilty either. And so since we know right now Haruaki Fusaishi had investigated Yoshisugu-kun, we I know that the idea that I had, which is Jamie being the wolf, is the likely case. Like, sure, she's not all out in the clear. Not saying that Rikako can't be a wolf, but at least positively, but logically, she can't be. It's still possible, though.
俺を疑ったのかよ。
You suspected me?
結果は
What was the result?
人だった。
He's a human.
でしょうね。これで正体不明なのは植松里香子、芽衣子、 それに知恵姉とモッチーだけになった。
I knew it. That means the only ones whose identities we don't know are Rikako Uematsu, Mako, Chiene, and Mochi. Well, that's true in general of what the rest of the group knows out of you guys. But we have good reason to believe that Mako is the spider. And that Rikako was protecting her. And we know that Mochi is one of the two wolves. So that's why I'm saying Chiene is the one. And that's kind of the idea I got last time.
しかし、残る絞り込みは、今朝遺体で見つかった僕の母、織部香織が行ってくれた。
However, my now late mother, Kaori Oribe, did the final filtering for us. He reached into his pocket and took out the letter from before, Kaori-san's final words. Everyone came closer and read it. I think he's forgetting that in that list, it was other that was on there, so even she admitted that there could be other suspects that she didn't want to suspect. So let's see how they interpret this. Everyone came closer and read it. Some began to choke up and cry, but everyone knew that what mattered right now wasn't the message she'd left the brothers. Rikaku Uematsu, Chiemi Serizawa, Chikamochi Kamoshida, Mako, and other. So yes, she put down other because there are other people that she likely didn't want to suspect, like her own sons. And we know that Mochi, as I've said multiple times, is a wolf. Mako, we suspect, is the real spider. And due to Rikako's actions, it can be kind of guessed that she's human. That's why I keep saying Chiemi is the likely one. She might not be, but she has the highest possibility of being it.
この部分はどういう意味かね。
What does this part mean?
これは間違いなく母さんの筆跡で、母さんから見た怪しい人間が並べてあるんです。
This is a list of people Mom found most suspicious written in her handwriting.
蛇の加護等で正体が定まってない知恵ねえ、モッチ、植松さん、メイク、母さん自身を除いてある。
It includes those who weren't confirmed to be human by the snake or anything else. Chiene, Mochi, Uematsu-san, Mako. Mom excluded herself, obviously.
義継も抜かれてるのは、母さんが義継を信じたってことでしょ。
And Yoshisugu isn't here because she simply trusted him. Well, that is true that his name's not there, but don't forget, other can be is essentially a blank. But knowing that she's the mother to the two of them, I can see how she doesn't want to suspect her own sons.
久石さんが実は狼だったとかそういう時は一応カバーできるようにその他の項目も置いてある。
She also left an other point just in case Fusaishi-san or someone else turned out to be wolves. Well, at least you're admitting to the other here.
まあ、その他の場合は、久石さんが嘘をついていたことが明らかなので、こちらも大きなヒントにはなる。
Though even if it was other, it would be a hint that Fusaishi-san was lying, which would be invaluable to
母
us.
さんはこれでメッセージを残した。
She used this to leave us a message.
待ちたまえ。これだけだと単なる名前の羅列に過ぎないが、どう読み解けというのかね。
Wait, this is just a list of names. How do you turn this into a hint? You got a good point here, Nasato. I only knew that it was a list of wolves because one of the names was already confirmed to be a wolf. The other is just an idea and a strong possibility at this point.
母さんの手の立てられた指の数です。
The number of fingers Mom was holding up.
皆さんに見てもらうことはできなかったですが、母さんの遺体の指は少し変な形になってた。
Most of you didn't see it, but her fingers were in strange positions.
サイさん、女子軍、母さんの手がどうなっていたか覚えていますよね。
Usaishi-san, Yoshisugu, you remember how they were, right? The right was clenching the pinky and the ring finger, while the left was clenching all besides the thumb.
右手が3本、左手が1本立てられていたね。
She held up 3 on her right and 1 on her left, didn't she? Yeah, she did, and that's kind of why I'm a bit curious. And one of the reasons why I'm saying it's curious is people like us here in the States, we count like this, but in some other places, I want to say that it goes like that, if I remember right. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but places tend to count things differently. At least from what I heard, it's all cultural in that. So I'm wondering here if that's how they do it in Japan, or at least this part of Japan, or at least in fiction here. Because the only thing that I do know is the things presented in Detective Conan, or at least around Japanese culture, are going to be a lot more trustworthy than what they reveal otherwise, at least of the culture. And I don't remember too many details. I just remember Kudo going over that, how some places put out their thumbs before they put out the other fingers. So it's like 2, I think, is the gun. Yeah, that's right.
指の数で狼を指定したってことか。
The number of fingers are pointing to the wolves.
いざ狼が入ってきた時には、もうこんなメッセージを残してる余裕はない。
Yes, when the wolves come, you wouldn't have the time to leave a message like this.
だからあらかじめ紙に書いて飲み込んで。
That's why she wrote it down and swallowed it. Ooh.
紙、美味しくないよ。
Paper isn't tasty. Of course it's not, Mako. She needed a hiding spot.
黙って、メイコ。
Be silent, Mako.
お姉ちゃん、怖い。
Oni-chan, you're scary.
そこまでしなきゃならなかったってことかよ。
She had to go that
ここで
far.
考えなければならないのは、ハルちゃんの時のこと。
Now you must remember Haru-chan's death.
彼女は母さんの時と同じく、布団の上で、ひどい殺され方をしていた。
Just like Mom, she
暴れた形跡はなかった。
Just like Mom, she was brutally killed in her futon. There was no sign of resistance from her.
母さんの時は、周りが荒らされてたけど、それは、
Mom's surroundings were a mess, but that was
俺
because
が暴れたんだよ。
I went apeshit.
基本的には何らかの方法で、抵抗ができない状態でああやって殺されたか、殺された後で遺体を傷つけられた。
Yes, that means that they both died while for some reason being unable to resist or had their remains damaged after they were
つ
killed.
まり死の前後は、ほとんど行動の自由が利かない状況で、 なおかつ狼の目があるわけです。
That means that while you're dying, you aren't in a state to do anything, and the wolves are watching
こ
too.
の状況では普通死にそうな人にメッセージを残せるなんて思わない。そこに穴があった。
It's hard to imagine that you could leave any dying message in that situation, but Mom found a loophole.
なるほど。そりゃ床に血文字とか残せるわけはないよね。狼に気づかれたらすぐ消されちゃう。
I see, it's hard to think that you could write a message using your own blood, or something. The wolves would see it and just erase it. Well, they could erase it, or they could pull something off like what they did in a Detective Conan case where there was an obvious message and it just kept getting changed until it was like who they wanted to be the bad guy. So it doesn't necessarily have to be erased.
そう。大きな情報は残せない。
Exactly, you can't leave any major
だ
info.
けどこうやって情報を別のところに書いておけば、それを指定する最低限の情報を残すことでことは足りる。
However, if you write the actual information somewhere and provide the bare minimum needed to find it, that would be more than
母
enough.
さんの場合は指を立てるという方法で、狼はそれに気づかなかった。
Mom's way was using her fingers and the wolves didn't
こんな方
notice.
法で読み耳の宴のルールの穴をつけるとは思っていませんでした。
I didn't think it was possible to go around the feast's rules like this. Well, everything has a loophole, Yasunaga. That's why we say that nothing is without flaws.
僕の頭が硬かったのは確かでしょう。無理そうなことには挑戦しなかった。でも
I must admit I was too hard-headed while I refused to try anything impossible Mom
こん
didn't.
なものを飲み込んでメッセージを残そうとする母さんの執念がほころびをついたんです。
She went as far as to swallow this, so I can only imagine how dedicated she was to leave this message. That is all.
上松、やっぱてめえが殺したんじゃねえか。
Uematsu, so you killed her, huh? This is kind of reminding me a lot of Detective Conan right here, where the wrong person is kind of accused and then they go off like this until the true one is found. But of course, at times, Detective Conan can be a bit annoying because there's some cases where you can know who the victim is and who the killer is just from the interaction they had prior. That's kind of how police would put it together, I'd say, but it just kind of annoys me when it's something that simple, but not as annoying as how it could be done. Like, once you see everything and such, to where it's not really that interesting of case, like the 6th episode of Detective Conan. That was a terrible case because there was nothing to figure out there. Everything was in your face there. It, like, didn't say it outright, but all the information was there, so you knew how the deed was done and who was likely responsible because of the behaviors and such. But this is just more so they're throwing out names and reasoning behind it at this point.
昨日くくっちまうべきだったってのか。
So we should have hanged her yesterday.
違います。違います。
No, that is not true.
休にしてはなんか雑じゃないかな。そんだけで僕とりっちゃんが犯人？
That's pretty sloppy, Yas. And is that really enough to conclude that Chan and I are the culprits? Well, that's kind of an interesting thing to say there, Mochi, even though we know that Yasunaga got your part, right?
そうです。私は自分が狼でないと知っています。
Exactly, I know.
その指は
Exactly,
間違いとしか。
Oh, exactly. I know full well that I'm no wolf. In which case, I can only say that Oribe-sama's fingers have to be some sort of mistake.
または読み方が違ってるとか。実は折ってる指の方を数えるんじゃないの？
What if you're supposed to read it differently? What if she counted the bent fingers? Well, that's a good point there, Mochi. Because we don't know the significance of the numbers, numbers or fingers, because otherwise we wouldn't have had those kind of details. That's a thing in a lot of mysteries here. Hey Mira, how are you doing?
そうなると、ちえみとめいこ、全く逆の結論になるな。
That mean it's Chiemi and Mako, the complete opposite. Mako's not there, Takumi. Mako is likely the spider. Hope you're having a good time there.
ね
See,
メイコは狼ではありません。私も狼ではありません。
Mako is not a wolf, and neither am I.
織部義継様が人なのならば、残る芹沢様と鴨志田様が狼です。織部様の指は勘違いです。
That's good. I'm glad that they're sweet to you, Mira. Let's see. If Yoshisugu Oribe-sama is a human, then it must be Serizawa-sama and Kamoshida-sama. Oribe-sama's fingers must be some sort of mistake. Well, it's kind of funny that she's saying that because that's what's in my mind right now. You did, huh? I hope you're having fun with those. Let's see, so... she's pretty much pulling out. Yeah. I don't know what that's for. Well, let's see. But Rikako here is definitely making a good point, so let's read it here. If Yoshisugu Oribe-sama's a human, then it must be Serizawa-sama and Kamoshida-sama. Oribe's fingers must be some sort of mistake. Alright, so I did read that. And those two are the ones that I'm aiming for here, because that's what the logic is. We know that Mochi is a wolf, and Serizawa can be innocent, but she's the most likely to be the one remaining. What are you saying? It's not me. This is exactly how a culprit would act when they're caught in a mystery novel. So, right here to me, she is basically admitting that she's the last remaining wolf that hasn't been confirmed. I just explained it, Mira. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
ぶっちゃけ ハッサンが狼とか真面目に考えるべきだと思う。
Yeah. Hopefully you caught up, witnessed it, because I'm not too sure how far behind the input is of what you get here compared to me actually reacting. I just know that there's a delay in there. Honestly, I think we should look into the possibility that Hassan's a wolf. They looked at me with suspicious eyes. Apparently, even almost dying from poison wasn't enough to earn their unconditional trust.
収拾がつかねえぞ、ヤス。
We haven't settled it yet,
迷う
Yasu.
ことなく狼は植松里香子と鴨志田近持です。
I have no doubts that the wolves are Rikako Uematsu and Shikamochi Kamoshida. You're still bent on that one, aren't you, Yasunaga? Because you've only got one of the wolves right. And I want to see who the other one is going to be. I keep saying it's Shamey because that's the highest possibility, and she just made a cliched statement. Now. But let's see what the truth is here.
メッセージの信憑性を補強する何かがあるのかね。
Do you have anything to support the trustworthiness of the message?
言いたくはなかったけどさ、
I didn't want to say it.
トリカブトが使われた段階でお前のことがよぎったよ。
But when the poisoner used Asianite, I thought of you.
ああ、なるほど。
Oh, I see.
ノサとか。
Cause he's an Asato?
確かに我々は毒草の扱いも家で手ほどきを受けるがね。
Well, it is true that we learn how to handle poisonous plants.
春明さん、覚えてたらでいいんですが、毒を盛られた時、葉っぱみたいなものは食べましたか？
Arawaki-san, do you remember if you ate something leaf-like when you were poisoned? I'd been on guard, so oh, of course I remembered.
大きめに刻んだネギと白菜は入ってたと思うけど、変なものは見えなかった。
There were some large-ish onion and cabbage pieces, but I didn't see anything strange.
そうでしょう。一応あの後みんなで残ってたお椀を見ましたが、トリカブトがそのまま入ってたってことはなかった。
Exactly. We all checked your bowl afterwards, and it didn't look like there was any Asianite inside.
だからトリカブトの汁とか毒を抽出したものとか、そういうのが使われたはずなんですよ。
That must mean the poison was in fluid form, extracted from the plant itself.
そういう発想ができるのは野里清之助さんか野里家の元跡取りで薬草や毒草に詳しい彼しかいないと思うんです。
Hold on, guys. I feel like I need a break for a drink and possibly need the bathroom, so I'm gonna take that chance to take that break. I will be right back. If you guys need something to do, be sure to check out today's question of the day. If you don't see it, the command in the title of the stream while I'm live should bring it up for you, and I will check that when I get back. So be right back. Alright, I'm back. Let me check on chat before I get things back up and running. Okay. Nothing there. And nothing there. Alright. And I need to charge my phone up too, so hold on. Alright, now we are ready to continue this. Alright. The only ones here capable of doing that are Kinosuke Nasato-san. Hold on, looks like I've got something to take care of here. It shouldn't be too long. You're fine. I just had something come up on my end too, but it was something just quick that I could take care of. Let's see. The only ones here capable of doing that are Kinosuke Nasato-san and him. Nothing much. I just got asked by my dad if I want to have lunch with him. Alright. Well, let's see. The only ones here capable of doing that are and I said yes to it. See, the only ones here capable of doing that are Kinosuke Nasato-san and him, the ex-heir apparent to the family. Alright, and I got confirmation about it. Alright, so back to this. The only ones here capable of doing that are Kinosuke Nasato-san and him, the ex-heir apparent to the family who knows a lot about herbs, poisonous or otherwise. That reminded me, the last time Kaori-san put just the cut leaves and Kinosuke-san instantly noticed.
そっかな。みんな な渦の見分け方くらいわかるでしょ？汁を絞って使うくらい思いつくんじゃない？
Really? Don't we all know what aconite looks like? Anyone can think of extracting the poison, right? In the village, I would say that you're right, Chikamochi. But don't forget, there's some city dwellers that are just as ignorant as I am, if not more so. Like, I can't really say what aconite looks like. And I can probably say I'm glad to not know that, although it would be useful for me to know it. And even if they could, like, extract the poison, I think you'd still need the right tools to do it, as well as the know-how. So anyone can think of extracting the poison, right?
どうして言ってくれないんだよ。僕じゃないってさ。
Why aren't you just saying that it's not
い
you?
や、僕じゃないって。見てよこの細腕。これで死体を切り刻むなんてとても。
But it isn't. I mean, look at my arms. There's no way I can cut up a corpse. Mochi, Mochi, Mochi. I know you are an idiot. But this is mistake number 1 in both fiction and reality. No one in these gatherings has said anything about the corpses. We as the audience know about the corpses and what their state was like because Fusaishi investigates them. But we haven't revealed that to you guys. This is the kind of thing that gets you arrested and such. And you shouldn't be saying this stuff. So, right now, not only do we as the audience and Fusaishi know that you're the wolf, but you just confirmed that you are a wolf. Just like Serizawa made a cliche statement that kind of confirmed her being the wolf. Whether they'll pick that part up or not, I don't know. But anyone and their dog would know that you just outed yourself right now.
どうして母さんが切り刻まれたって知ってるんだ？
Oh my! Yasunaga picks it up. How did you know that mom's body was cut up? Everything seemed to grind to a halt. Yasunaga Oribe glared at his ex-friend with both anger and a bit of grief. Shikamochi Kamoshida looked back at him with a poker face.
じゃあ、やはり、香織さんのメッセージは正しい。
So Kaori-san's message is true. Yes.
鴨志田様。嘘でしょ？
Kamoshida-sama, that cannot be true. And why are you like this, Rikako? Like, what's your strong bond to him? I know that this is kind of the usual pattern of things, of people being revealed to be somebody that they didn't think they could be. So her emotional line on that kind of makes sense, but what kind of connection does she have with Mochi to be in a state like this?
はい、ストップ。
Alright, hold it. I got some looks that could kill, but I had to do it. Everything depended on it. And here we are, another Detective Conan moment. Sure, no one's knocked out with a tranquilizer to reveal this, but this is exactly like Detective Conan here in how they reveal things. So yeah, everything depended on it.
安永くんの道筋は大体正しいと思うし、香織さんの功績というのは確かに果てしないと思う。
I believe Yasunaga-kun is on the right path and that Kari-san's work is invaluable for
けど、
us.
ちょっと読み解いておくべきことが足りてないように思う。
However, I believe there are some things you failed to
何
consider.
でしょうか。遠慮なく言ってもらっていいですよ。
What is it? I'm all ears. Ignoring his somewhat antagonistic tone.
香織さんの遺体について、さっき話に出たように、顔と手以外の全身に切り傷がつけられているような状態です。
You mentioned Kaori-san's body. All of it was covered in cuts except for the face and
こ
hands.
こでまず一つ。なぜ顔と手は残された？はるちゃんの時は、顔は残されたけど、手は完全にやられていた。
First of all, why did they ignore those places? Consider Haru-chan. Her face was intact, but her hands certainly weren't. I felt bad about making them remember things they didn't want to, but I had no
顔
choice.
は、まあわかる気はするんですよ。こんな殺し方だと、顔が残った方がかえって残酷だ。でも、手はどうかな？
I think I can understand leaving the face considering how brutal the murder is. The face being untouched just makes it more cruel. But what about the hands?
指なんて一番切り刻みやすい部位だ。どうしてこれが残された？
Fingers are easier to cut than any part of the body. Why did they leave them? Well, that's kind of a tough one when you think about it. Like, he has a point about leaving the fingers. But even if you cut off the fingers, they would likely lead to something unless you cut off all the fingers. That's the only way that I see it kind of working out to make things harder. But otherwise, with how she was, it would still be a significant indicator of what she meant by list and that.
まるで、わざとダイイングメッセージを残そうとしたみたいに見えませんか？
Wouldn't you say it seems artificial, like whoever did it wanted to leave a dying message?
わざと？
Artificial?
先に結論を言うと、このメッセージは狼の捏造です。
Yes, to cut to the chase, the wolves left them like that to trick
待
us.
てやおら、あれ間違いなくお袋の字だったっつうな。
Hold the fuck on, the paper had mom's writing.
それは間違いないと思うよ。香織さんは確かに安永くんが言った計画であれを飲み込んだんだろう。
Oh, and it must be. I don't doubt that Kaori-san likely swallowed it for the plan you mentioned.
それを万一の時に取り出すよう吉嗣くんにことづけたんだよね。
And Yoshisugu-kun was told to take it out in case something happened, right?
ああ、そうだ。
Yeah, I was.
ここにも穴があって内緒話は必ず漏れると僕は思ってるんですが、確率の話をしても仕方ないからやめて。
I think that's flawed since all secrets are likely to be leaked out into the open, but I'm not going to talk about the
問題は
possibilities.
今回の殺し方ではメッセージは残せないってところにあるんですよ。
The problem is that the way she was killed didn't let her leave this message.
どういうことだ？抵抗できないってのは指一本動かせなかったはずってことか？
You think she couldn't have resisted because she couldn't move a finger? Well, she had to be able to move her fingers, but in terms of defense, no.
それはわかりません。そうかもしれないし、違うかもしれない。だからそれもやめて、ここで話を聞きたいのは野里さんです。
I'm not sure about that. Maybe yes, maybe no. Instead of speculating, I will just ask Nosato-san.
確かね。
Me?
はい。腕の内側を深く切り刻まれた状態で手を握り込むことはできますか？
Yes, can you clench your hand with deep cuts all over your arm?
それは不可能だな。指の第一関節と第二関節を曲げる筋肉は手のひらじゃなく腕につながっている。
That is impossible. The muscles that move the joints and fingers are connected to the arm, not the palm. What?
香織さんがもし指の形をああした後で切られたのだとすれば、筋が立たれて手は開いたはずだ。
If she put her fingers into those positions before she was cut, her hand should have opened when the muscle was damaged.
逆に切られた後で指をああしようと思っても、指をもう握り込むことはできない。
On the other hand, if she wanted to do it after the cut, she couldn't grasp her fingers anymore. But that odd.
そうか。だから腕の傷が下向きになっていたんだ。
I see, so that's why the wounds are facing down.
そうだったのか。
They were?
腕だけこう傷口を伏せたように下向きになってたんです。
Yes, the wounds on the arms alone were facing the floor instead of up.
つまり母さんは指が握り込めないから腕をなんとか動かして床で挟み込んで
She couldn't
口の指を
She couldn't clench her fingers, so she moved her arms against the floor to force the fingers into that position and...
無理があると思わないか？あそこまで腕をぐちゃぐちゃにされて腕を動かせたと考える方が。
Do you really think she could? Her arms were destroyed so badly, I highly doubt she could move them.
それは
まあこれも確率論。いいでしょう。五分五分ってことにしておきましょう。
Though this is a matter of likelihood too, so let's assume there was a 50% chance she could do it.
今のところは不自然なだけな点が指が無傷なこと、指が握られていたこと、密談が漏れなかったこと。
So far, the only unnatural thing is that the fingers were unharmed, grasped, and that this secret talk didn't leak.
加えて明らかに奇妙な点が一つ。
There's also another strange thing about
遺体
it.
の首にも傷はあった。もちろん深いものだけど骨までは見えていなかった。
She was injured in her neck too. It was a deep wound, but it didn't seem to reach the bone. Yeah, her neck was there, but we don't know where the injuries were. Only you do, Haruaki.
断面には大きな管が一つだけ見えた。野里さん、喉の部分を切って一番最初に見える大きな管は何ですか？
There was one large tube in the cut, Masato-san. What's the first tube you come across when cutting the throat? Well, that would be the trachea or the esophagus would be my guess. But then again, depending on where the neck wound is, it could be the carotid arteries or jugular. But let's see what the answer is here.
気管？
The trachea.
吉次君は気管から包みを取り出したことになるんです。呼吸する時の息が通る道ですよ。気管って。
That means Yoshisugu-kun took the paper out of the trachea, the tube that passes air when
そ
breathing.
んなところに物が詰まればすぐに窒息していたでしょう。そんなことができたはずがない。
With something stuck in a place like that, you'd quickly suffocate. There's no way she could have gotten it in there.
それはそうだ。赤反射というものもある。物を飲み込むなら物は普通は気管の奥の食道を通って胃に落ち着くはず。
That is true. We have the cough reflex. If you swallow something, it's bound to pass the esophagus instead of the trachea and end up in the stomach.
ちなみに彼女は、ハルちゃんの時と同じく、大量に血を吐いています。
Also, just like Haru-chan, she vomited out a lot of
お
blood.
そらく殺害の時、吐血とともに手紙は出てきてしまった。それを狼は見たんでしょうね。
The letter must have left her body when she was being murdered, and the wolves must have noticed
手
it.
紙は本物だが、後から喉に仕込まれたんですよ。解剖学的な知識のない狼の手によってね。
The letter is real, but it was stuffed into her throat afterwards by wolves who don't know who don't know anatomy.
それじゃあ
But then,
そう。手が無傷だったのは、狼が誤ったメッセージを伝えるために、わざと残したんだ。
yes, the hands were unharmed because they wanted to pass off a fake
腕
message.
の傷が逆だったのは、逆にして床と挟み込まないと、指の数が固定できなかったから。もう、なくなってたわけだからね。
The wounds on the arms were reversed because the numbers of fingers up wouldn't stay that way unless they used the floor to do
ちな
so.
みに、狼は彼女が手紙を飲み込むって密談を事前に聞いていて、注意深く探した可能性はあります。
Also, it's likely that the wolves heard her talk about swallowing the letter and went out of their way to search for it.
この狼は、遺体の損壊にかなり執心していますね。
These wolves are really fixated on destroying the
全
remains.
身くまなく破壊することで、死者のメッセージが万一にも残らないように、という意図もあるように、僕は思います。
By being thorough about that, they prevented any chance of humans leaving such messages. At least that's what I think.
恐ろしく抜け目がなく、狡猾な狼だと、僕は思いますね。
They're really meticulous, astute, and cunning. A bit tired of talking, I fell silent for a moment and no one spoke up in my place. They were all at a loss for
だから結
words.
局、香織さんの指のサインは誤情報。これで狼を断罪するわけにはいかない。
That's why Kaori-san's fingers are a red herring. We can't base our accusations on
牧
that.
島勘三さん、
Konzo Makishima-san?
かつての宴で、死者がメッセージを残すことはありませんでしたか？
Have the dead left any messages in previous feasts?
年寄りはみんな口を揃えておった。
The elders all used to say,
死人の口が言うのは、よもつ狼が言わせた嘘じゃ、と。
the dead only tell the Yomo Utsuokami's lies. There you had it. I liked those words. They were on theme with the story
ダイイン
too.
グメッセージは当てにはならない。このことを証明してくれただけで、香織さんの功績は計り知れない。
You can't trust dying messages by merely proving that Kaori-san contributed to us
わ
immensely.
かりました。納得しました。僕の知らない知識を持ってすれば、確かに
I understand.
あったのでしょう。
I understand and agree with all this new knowledge I didn't have. It does seem very suspicious.
狼は誰なんですか？さっきモッチーが口を滑らせたのは一体何だったんですか？
Then who are the wolves? What does Mochi's slip of the tongue mean?
正解は、すでに出ている。
We already have the answer.
リカ子さん、さっき、なんて言いました？
Rikako-san, what did you say before we talked about this?
織部義継様が、人なのであれば、私とメイコは、人ですから。
If Yoshisugu Oribe-sama is a wolf, no, is a human, then I and Meiko are human as well. What? Why? Why would his being a human make the two of them human as well? Because the only way that it makes sense, like, I know it's not wrong about that, but I don't get the reasoning presented here. Because my reasoning is that Rikako is human because Meiko is the real snake. And we just proved that Yoshisugu is a human too. But I don't get how Yoshisugu being human proves that they are human.
残る鴨志田近持様と
That leaves just Shikamochi
様が
That just leaves just Shikamochi Kamoshida-sama and Chiemi Serizawa-sama. Both who outed themselves in different ways. Her words were slow, and so was everyone else's reaction. Slowly, they turned to Chiemi, who'd almost never faced suspicion this whole feast.
嘘だよね
No way.
だってそれは私だって信じたくないけどリカ子さんだって確定じゃないから可能性あるよね
I mean, what? Well, I don't want to believe that too, but there's nothing that says it isn't Rikako-san, right? Well, I would let her do the talking.
リカ子さん、あなたは本当は雲の影響を受けてませんよ。
Rikako-san, you aren't a spider, are you?
はい
Correct. I knew it. Naturally, the impact of that revelation was great. You could tell by just looking at everyone's shocked
本
faces.
物の雲は誰ですか？
Who is the real spider?
メイコです
Mako.
姉ちゃんいいの
Are you sure, Oni-chan?
ええ私は春明様を信じます
Yes, I trust Haruaki-sama.
私クモお腹になんかお姉ちゃんのこれ書いてあったよ
Yeah, I'm the spider. I had Oni-chan's thing on my tummy. She pointed at Rikako-san's brooch.
なんでそんなもしかしてカゴの印を見たんですか
Huh? What? Why? Did you see her guardian mark?
とんでもないそれは汚れを受けるに値する重い禁忌です
Of course not. That is a Of course not. That is a taboo act that would render me deserving of the corruption. However,
藤吉の暗がりを見張るネヤのはしためとしてこの時期に万一霧が立って
as a bedroom woman's
巻き込まれるならば
As a bedroom woman servant, it is my role to watch over the darkness in Fujiyoshi. So in the case that the mists came and this girl became
ま
involved,
だ字も読めないこの子が失敗せぬよう私が力を貸せるように
I taught her a few
任
things.
せておいたのです
I taught her a few things since she could not read yet, and so I could help her.
印覚えたよ
I remembered the symbols.
さっきから何を書いてるんだい？
What are you drawing?
字がねお守り
Those are guardians.
お守り？
Guardians?
それでねクモさんだったら足痛くなるの
She said if I'm the spider, my leg starts to hurt.
お姉ちゃんお布団で転んだ足ぶつけて痛い
Oni-chan, I rolled in my futon and hit my leg. It hurts.
おまじないをしてあげる
A bit later, I will make it better with some magic words. Oh, this is a nice way to hide it.
ヘビさんだったら
And if you were the snake,
目が痛くなる
my eyes would
ワル
hurt.
スさんだったら
And the
お
crow,
腹痛くなる
my tummy would hurt.
オオカミさんだったら
And a wolf,
頭痛くなる
my head would hurt. Mako was talking way more than usual. She probably wanted to talk a lot during the feast, but we never gave her a chance
ワル
to.
さんだったら
And the monkey?
その時は言わなくていい
Then I don't have to say it.
猿の時は私が身代わりに名乗り出ることはできませんから
That is because I cannot claim to be her when she is the monkey.
なるほど。しかしメイコは雲として守る相手を決めるときに必 紙に字は書けたのかよ。
I see it, but how did Mako write down the names of the people she'd protect as the spider? That's a good question there. Because she is kind of young to be able to understand this and such, so this is a good question that should be answered.
それは私が書いて持たせました。
I wrote them down I wrote them down myself and gave it to her when changing her clothes.
過去の指定は直筆じゃなくてもいいのか。
It doesn't have to be the one with the Guardian themselves who writes it. Now that's some good information there.
わからなかったので真似をして書かせました。
I was not sure, so I had her copy my writing.
いっぱい覚えた。
I learned lots of
こ
hiragana.
の辺りこそが4人目の宴の掟の穴かもしれません。
This might be an actual loophole in the feast's rules.
昼の間の密談はバレる。隠したつもりの情報は必ず露見する。しかしその情報自体を事前に暗号化していれば、
Secret talks during the day are never actually secret, but if you somehow encrypt the information ahead of time,
手に渡っても解読できない。そもそも情報かどうかも理解されない。
then the wolves who got it couldn't decipher it. They probably wouldn't even recognize it as
さらに
info.
言えば、こんな幼い子が掟に挑んでるとは誰も思わない。
And no one would think that such a little girl was bending the rules. When you looked at it as a game, it was clearly unfair. However, when our lives were on the line, we couldn't really care about
とに
that.
かくリカ子さんは確かに雲ではなかったが、雲の代言者として実際に肝臓さんを一度守ったんです。
Anyway, though Rikako-san wasn't the spider, she was like her representative and used this position to protect Kanzo-san once.
あの時は牧島勘三様が最も重要に見えましたので、
You seemed the most important one of us back
牧
then.
島春様は
You seemed the most
できませんで、
You seemed the most important one of us back then, but I could not predict that they would attack Haru Makishima-sama next.
方ね、雲は一回でも守れりゃ上等だ。
It's fine. A spider that protects one is a good spider.
おかしいと思ったんだ。雲の加護者は基本的に名乗り出るメリットはない。候補が2人出てくるのは異常だった。
I thought it was weird the spider normally has no reason to out themselves. It was strange that we had two. That was true, but with the old wolf guy being the other candidate, I really couldn't understand why it happened. Still, there was no point in thinking about that in this loop.
僕は彼女の意図を初日の投票の時、メイコではなく自分に投票しろという彼女の言動から推測しました。
I suspected this on the first day when she insisted I voted for her instead of
お
Mako.
そらく彼女はメイコの盾となっていざとなったら名乗り出て加護者を生かすつもりなのだと。
She was probably thinking of becoming Mako's shield, coming out as a fake spider and letting the real one live
そして
on.
メイコが狼だった時の不調まで聞いていたということは、
Also, since you told Mako to tell you if she was a wolf.
彼女を殺して私は汚れを受ける所存でした。
Yes, I intended to kill her and suffer the
そ
corruption.
れを知ってたので、僕の中では昨日の段階で容疑者は3人に絞り込めてました。
And since I knew the truth, I was able to reduce the suspects to just 3.
あとはこの中で人を確定させられれば残り2人の狼が確定する。
All that was left was to confirm which one of them was human. That would mean the other two were wolves.
消去法かね。狼を一人確定させても最後の一人が決まらんわけだ。
The process of elimination, if you picked a wolf, you still wouldn't know the last one.
そうか。じゃあ房石さんは一番怪しくなさそうなものとして義継を加護の対象にしたんですね。
I see, so you picked the least suspicious one of the three,
まあ
Yoshisugu.
ね。
More or
俺を
less.
疑ってたんじゃなかったのか。
Oh, so you didn't suspect me?
さて、ここまで聞いて、これがよくできた作り話だと思いますか？
Now, after hearing all that, can you still say this is all just a well-crafted
そ
fabrication?
して、消去法の上残った二人は、
And you, the two we have left thanks to the process of
自分
elimination.
が狼でないということの、これに勝る弁明ができますか？
Do you have any excuses that would work to prove you aren't the wolves?
もしそうなら、どうして僕は香織ママの嘘情報でも狼ってことにされてたのさ。
If I am, why was I a wolf and Mommy Carrie's false info? False info? How can you say that? Because we know that the info isn't completely false. We just know that it was a bit of a misdirection.
そうだ。そこがわからん。どうして狼は近持が狼だと本当の情報を混ぜる必要があった？
Yes, it makes no sense. Why did the wolves have to mix true information with the false? Well, you have to kind of think about this a bit because sometimes it is important to mix truth with lies to get anywhere. In fact, make it believable. That's why they have things called half-truths.
彼がおとりだからですよ。
Because he's the decoy.
皆さん、彼はどうやって僕に毒を持ったと思います？
How do you believe I was poisoned?
それは結局不明のままだ。だからオリベ夫人が疑われたのだ。
Yes, that still isn't clear. That's why Lady Orbe was
彼
suspected.
としか君を狙える者がいなかった。
She was the only one who could target you. Wait.
そうなんですよ。彼女以外にありえないんです。僕を狙ったものなら。
Yes, she's the only possible option if you're aiming specifically for me anyway.
そうか。そういうことか。
I see, so that's how it
誰
is.
でもよかったのか。
It didn't matter who died.
正解。あれは僕を狙ったんじゃなくて、死ぬのは誰でもよかったんですよ。
Exactly, I wasn't a target at all. They didn't care about who died.
待て待て、どういうことだ？お前が蛇だから狙われたんだろ？
Whoa, hold on. What do you mean? They targeted you because you're the snake, right?
それが考え違いの元なんですよ。たまたま毒の塗られた器が僕に回っただけです。
That's the very source of the misunderstanding. It just so happened that the poisoned bowl went to me.
おそらく彼は昨日のいつかのタイミングで食器に毒を塗った。
He probably found a chance to get poison in a bowl and took
一
it.
番上のやつに一滴垂らしたとかだけかもしれません。その程度ならばチャンスはいくらでもあったでしょう。
Maybe it was just a drop on the top bowl. He had more than enough opportunities to do something that
そして
simple.
食事となった時、狼はなんとなく雑談でもしながら料理には手をつけず様子を見る。
And when it was time to eat, the wolves just avoided their bowls and chatted while watching if something was happening to the
自分た
others.
ち以外の誰かが毒を食らえば、そのタイミングで口をつけるかつけてたことにする。
They'd only eat after they saw who got the poison.
多分あの時は場が混乱してたから、全員が確実に料理に口をつけてたかはもう証明できないでしょう。
After the chaos that followed, it was impossible to tell if someone was avoiding the
も
food.
し誰も毒を食らわなければ、自分たちの皿に毒が回ってきているから気分が悪いとか理由をつけて食べなきゃいいわけで、
If no one ended up getting poisoned, it would mean that one of their bowls had poison, so they'd say they weren't feeling hungry and excuse themselves.
こうすることで人の陣営を一人減らせる。
Anyway, doing that would reduce the humans by one.
発言力の強い牧島さん、匠さん、安永くん、立場が微妙な野里さん、自称雲の理香子さん、 蛇のカゴ車である僕。
Makishima-san, Tamuki-san, and Yasunoga-kun have a lot of influence here. The Sato-san's position here is complicated. Rikako-san is the self-proclaimed spider, while I'm the snake.
人の多くが、狼にとって殺す価値のある人材であると言えます。
You can say that most of the humans are worth killing for them.
そして、いざ毒殺されれば、それは調理した本人であり、唯一個人を狙える立場にあった香織さんが疑われる。
And if the poison killed someone, the only suspect would be the cook, and the only one who could target someone, Kaori-san,
カラスである。香
the
織さんは
the self-proclaimed crow.
お前が死にかけたのは、
And you almost died.
完全なる偶然でしょうね。しかしちょうど、僕が蛇だと明かした直後で効果はてきめんでしたね。
Because of a simple coincidence, but since I just revealed that I was the snake, it was extremely
僕
effective.
が死んでいたら、きっと狼は香織さんを夜殺さず、今日この場でくくっていたでしょう。
If I died because of this, the wolves wouldn't have killed Kaori-san and she would have been hanged today. I took a few breaths. Everyone was silent, probably because they were reflecting on the way they'd suspected her yesterday.
結果的に僕は死ななかった上に、植松さんの、その、不思議な力によって彼女の信頼度も高まってしまった。
But not only did I survive, Uematsu-san's strange power that saved me helped her gain some level of trust.
である以上、植松さんはきっと雲として僕を守るでしょうから、夜には殺せない。
That being the case, they assumed that she would use her spider powers to protect me, meaning they couldn't kill me that night either.
リカ子さんを殺すことも考えたでしょう。ただ、リカ子さんは常々証明されているように、藤吉での立場が極めて悪い。
They probably did consider killing her, but as she proves time and time again, her position here in Fujiyoshi is extremely poor.
ちえみちゃんとリカ子さんのどちらをくくるかって話になった時に、まずリカ子さんがくくられるってほどには、
It was enough for her to be hanged if measured against Jamie-chan.
だから、昼に殺せばいい。そうなると、カラスのカゴ車である香織さんの方を殺してしまおう。
They could kill her in the daytime, so they decided to kill Kaori-san instead.
この辺りの順位付けが妥当かどうかはともかくとして、この二人がこういう風に考えてもおかしくはないと思います。
Whether that was a good second option aside, I don't think it's unlikely for these two to think that way.
話がだいぶ離れたんですが、1日2人以上の殺人は汚れの対象です。
Now back to the matter at hand, killing two people in one day makes you a target of the
つ
corruption.
まり鴨志田近持は覚悟の上で毒を持った。
That means that Chikamochi Kamoshida poisoned the bull knowing what would happen.
というかおそらく毒を持ったのが野里家の敗着である自分だとバレることも織り込み済みでことに及んだ。
He probably did it even while knowing that he, as a disowned Masato child, would be the prime suspect.
基本的に狼は全員生き残るなんてまずできないんですよ。能動的にカゴ車を語ればいつかはくくられる。
Typically, it's hard for all the wolves to survive if they actively faked having guardians. They would certainly end up
しか
hanged.
しなぜか彼らは固い結束の上、中で犠牲者を決めて突撃させる。語りに、あるいはルール破りにね。
However, thanks to some form of unity between them, they could choose scapegoats from among them to serve the role of the faker or the rule
鴨
breaker.
志田近持はそういう役回りです。だから今日、香織さんの遺言に従ってくくられる覚悟はしていたでしょう。
That's Chikamochi Kamashida's role. That's why he was probably ready to die because of Kaori-san's final
しかし
message.
今日リカ子さんをくくれれば、今夜僕を殺して場をめちゃくちゃにして生き残れる可能性はあった。
However, if Rikako-san was hanged today, they could kill me today. Make a mess of things and maybe even
そう
survive.
いう賭けだったんじゃないですかね。残念ながら負けですが。
That's what they were betting on, I assume. Unfortunately for them, it didn't work.
ね
He looks down with a half smile, gathering everyone's
やっ
attention.
ぱそれ一方的じゃないかな。ハッサンやりっちゃんが本物だってのも決まってないわけだしさ。
That seems really one-sided. I mean, we have no proof that Hassan and Rick-chan are what they claim to be. He brought up something we'd been over already. And since that was all they had left,
それに香りママの指だってまだああやって読むのが正しいのかも。
and maybe you can actually read Mommy Cowrie's fingers some other way?
モッチ、
Mochi,
もういいよ。
that's enough.
苦しいよ。さすがに。
It's getting cringeworthy.
じゃあ
Then, yeah,
やるとしようよ。
let's kill them all. Oh my gosh. I know that they're all crazy and such, but her face here is just so hilarious. And it's all evil. And the let's kill them all. That makes sense at this point because they are cornered. Everyone here had a certain hope. They believed that if exposed, the wolves would admit it and give themselves in. Well, this isn't Detective Conan. Because that's what would happen in Detective Conan once they're exposed. It would be too late for them to keep struggling after all. Certainly they wouldn't attack the humans head on. Certainly their ex-neighbors wouldn't be that malicious and murderous. I couldn't blame them for their optimism. I was the only one who knew how badly Yasunaga Oribe changed last time, so I should have been the one to take care. However, even I could be taken off guard. I knew that the current wolves were wicked, but I thought it was because of Chikamochi Kamoshida, the boy with unusual tendencies and devilish intuition. I knew that she could use a gun, but I didn't expect her to whip one out right in front of us. She was the girl who told me to leave her and run despite the invisible god terrorizing her. The girl who'd opened herself up to me despite knowing it wasn't meant to be. I never would have thought she'd bring a gun to this place and try to take everyone with her. The turn was so unexpected that the smart ones here were frozen. Those who hadn't suspected her weren't moving either. The ones who did...
ジェミー、やめろ
Jamie, stop! Was the one most proactive among us. You fool! And the one who didn't trust anyone. When the first shot was fired, the buckshot aimed at the end of the circle was blocked by Takumi-san's body. His large frame absorbed the bullets, bursting apart. Aha! Past his collapsing body, I saw her face, a beastly smile. A moment later, Chikamochi Kamoshida fired his own gun. Kanzashi was charging toward him with a clenched fist, and the shot blew off his face. Next, beyond the bloody mist they left behind, I saw the eyes of a bird of prey. Run! The next person Jamie aimed at was Yoshisugu-kun, who was trying to charge at her. That was when Kanzo-san, on the verge of death, landed a punch on Chikamochi, as I absent-mindedly watched.
キヨ、不採し
Kyo Fusaishi,
頼む
it's up to you. I felt like I heard that voice. It just snapped me out of my torpor. Kinosuke Shi was the same in that regard. Our eyes met, and then I heard to take Rikako-san and Mako's hands while he grabbed Yasunaga-kun by the shoulders. Without even seeing the results of the third shot, we ran straight for the exit. We were closer to the exit than the other side. We heard another gunshot, but we weren't in a situation to turn around. Rikako-san dropped to the ground, letting out a cry as she did, and I ended up basically dragging her so we could evade our assailants. Kinosuke, she saw that his expression changed, and he, still holding Yasunaga-kun's hand, used his open hand to push my shoulder. I felt like there was a silent understanding between us. Not saying a thing, he hurriedly let go of Yasunaga-kun and took Rikako-san's hand while I took Yasunaga-kun's now empty hand. It was an irrational action. However, I probably thought that I had no right to hold her by the hand, and a feeling which made it hard for me to run. Kinosuke, she staunchly grasped her and started running. Following his example, I took Mako under my arm and started running, pulling Yasunaga-kun with me. The young man seemed to be in a stupor. Was it just me, or was the mist even denser than usual? It probably felt that way because I was running, making the lack of visibility way more dangerous. I followed the gravel path and ran up a hill.
もう大丈夫です。自分で走れます。
It's okay, I can run by myself now. Hearing that clear voice, I let go of his
どこ
hand.
に逃げればいい？
Where should we run?
里屋敷。あそこがここで一番しっかりした建物です。
The Nasato Mansion, it's the sturdiest building here. That made sense, the other two are going there too. So if we regrouped and held our ground there. Aha. Suddenly, I heard laughter coming from the side. It almost makes me freeze, but I held myself together and lowered my head. Another gunshot. I could... low battery, huh? I'll probably charge this once I'm done at this part, because I was gonna end when I hit the bad end and get the loop back. I could clearly feel the bullets fly past the top of my head.
なんで？
Chine, why?
長君走れ！
Keep running. Wah! Mako cried for the first time ever. I had to keep running while closing her mouth. I'd expected Yasunaga-kun to be right behind me, but I couldn't hear his footsteps anymore.
やめてよ。
Please stop. He was probably trying to convince Jamie.
好きだったのに。
I've always liked you, you know.
私はそうでもなかった。
The feeling ain't mutual. That brief exchange and the gunshot that followed seemed strangely clear. Here.
我慢してくれ。メイコ。
Please don't make a sound, Mako. Shit. Was this the end of the line for this loop? With Japan being a mostly gun-free society, their power could easily be both overestimated as well as underestimated, making it hard for us to gauge. However, here in a mist where I could barely see anything and could be hit at point-blank range by surprise, I was all too aware. Guns were frightening tools that could end a life with a single pull of the trigger.
どこかな、春明さん。
Haruaki-san, where are you? I made it to Tai Yamawaki-san's house, hid behind it, and waited. I had to catch my breath and figure out my best route to the Nasato Mansion. By following his path, I could pass the collapsed construction site and arrive at the mansion. That was the fastest way there, but I wasn't sure it was
出
safe.
てきたら助けてあげるよ。嘘だけど。
Come out, I'll help you. Yeah, right. Hearing that cheerful voice, I heard the unlocked door open up. I'd run as fast as I could, but she'd caught up easily, probably due to her healthy legs and familiarity with the land. Mako was trying really hard not to scream. and I was hoping that she could hold it in. Hearing someone enter, I counted to 5 and snuck out. I didn't sense anyone following me. Going down the hill, I passed the plaza and continued making my way to the Nasato mansion, hoping they missed me. Putting Mako on my back, I continued sneaking. On your back? I think it would have been better to put her in your arms, because your back makes her an easy target. This is the second time I'd reached the final stage with her by my side. Was it fate or something? Shaking away that question, I went ahead. I kept moving forward, and quickly found out I was being too naive.
面白い。
Funny. There was a person right before the
見て
mansion.
た時よりだいぶ面白いよ、おっちゃん。
You're way funnier now than when you were alive, Uncle. There was a mess that looked vaguely human in front of him. He poked at it with something long and thin, probably a shotgun. Anyway,
次はそこの発散かな。
guess that just leaves you, doesn't it, Hassan? I didn't know whether it was because he was a wolf or from the Crow family, but hiding behind an Okiba wasn't enough to fool him.
あ、背中向けて逃げたら、メイコちゃんが弾に当たって先に死んじゃうよ。そんなの発散はしないよね。
Oh, if you turn around and run, I'm gonna hit Mako-chan on your back and kill her. You don't want that, do you? Yeah, he was right.
それよりさ、いっそ向かってくれば？じっちゃんとかおっちゃんみたいにさ、その方が僕は楽しい。
That aside, can you just face me, old man Konzo and Uncle did? It's more fun to me this way. The snappy attitude he'd given us on the latter part of the feast was nowhere to be seen. Faking his behavior to keep up the act just because he was a wolf must have been stressful for him. Right now, I was close to him and could tell by his expression that he was extremely refreshed. But man, Kinosuke Shi seemed to have struggled probably to let Rikako-san escape. He had guts in him somewhere after
りっ
all.
ちゃんみたく背中から撃つのはあんま気分良くないから趣味じゃないな。
I don't like shooting people in the back like I did with Rick Chan, and it's in poor taste. Fuck.
メイクは見逃せよ。
Let Mako run away.
そりゃあ難しいな。狼様的には闇人の筆頭みたいな子だし。
That won't fly. I'm an Okami-sama. You know, can't let the top Yomabito just walk away.
自分で読みに帰るなら知らないけど。
Though she could just return to Yomi on her own or something. Was he bound by the curse, the real story? I let Mako
下
go.
の崖を目指して。それで川まで降りるんだ。
Go down the cliff. Go down the cliff until you reach the river. Can you do that? Doing that probably meant getting the same ending as last time, but it wasn't impossible that she'd make it. Jamie wasn't with us, maybe if the little girl was alone. Whatever the case, it was better than just letting her get shot. Lucia. Uki-san,
大丈
yeah.
夫。なんとかなるから。
It's fine, it's gonna work out. And most importantly, if I died here, all of this would return to nothing and I'd loop. I'd actually reached the point where I considered that in my calculations. Go. Bye. Bye. As she started to
なん
run.
てうっそー。
Yeah, nah, just kidding. As Chikamochi began aiming at her again, I felt intense anger. I couldn't understand him at all. Was this how they really were? Or was this caused by the real story? My body moved before my messed up brain, which was something I didn't expect. My instinct to protect children must have taken over. I heard the gunshot, then felt the lead bullets bite in my body. Gah! Because of the poor visibility and because the bucket shot was small, probably meant for birds, the wound wasn't fatal. Still, the pain assaulting my body felt like was pierced by a dull tip of a sword. I staggered a bit, then fell to my knees. It hurt a lot. I didn't feel Mako behind me. She must have ran away without looking back. No idea if that meant anything. It hurt. Fuck. It hurt a lot.
何やってんだよ、ハッサン。あんな子のために死んでどうすんの？
What was that about? Why would you die for
ハッサン
her?
は僕と遊ぶんだ。ハッサンは僕と遊ぶんだよ。
You're supposed to play with me, Hassan. Get it? Play with me. Ignoring my pain, he just said that.
しょうがないな。
Oh
やる
well.
気がないなら、せめて面白い格好の死体にでも。
If you're not up for it, maybe I can turn you into a funny
約
corpse.
束が違うじゃん、モッチ。
That's not what we agreed on, Mochi. As I heard that voice, I looked up and saw that Mochi Kamoshida was dead. The wolf that popped out of the mist wielded a blade instead of a
荒
gun.
木さんは私がって言ったのに。
I said, I'm gonna take Haruaki-san. It was an extremely sharp kitchen knife. It was embedded to the hilt in the other wolf's head. The boy quickly collapsed without saying a word. Jamie grabbed his weapon, checked the chambers, and clicked her tongue. Then she walked up to the boy's corpse.
花切れじゃん。撃ちすぎなんだよ、下手くそモッチ。
Out of shots. What a waste of bullets. You suck, Mochi. And removed the knife from his head. The body jerked for a moment, then lay still. She looked at the weapon, wet with gray matter, then threw it away. I wondered what she'd do next, and she took a new weapon out of her sleeve. It was like her entire body was a weapon. I began to question just how well I'd actually known her.
春明さんさ、もう誰もいないよ。
Haruaki-san, you're all alone
二人
now.
きりだね。ま、だからなんだって感じだけどさ。
It's just the two of us, not like that means much. She sounded bored, but I could feel the bloodlust and malice behind her
もう
words.
言葉も出せない感じ？
Can't say anything more, huh?
なんて
Why?
喋れてる。よかったよかった。
Ah, you can talk. Good to
なん
know.
でこんなことを
Why are you doing
しょ
this?
うがないじゃん。しなきゃどうにもなんないんだもん。
Can you blame me? There's no other way for us, is there?
僕は君がそんなやつじゃないと思ってた。
I didn't think you were like this.
起きてたか伝説だか知らないけど、それがいくら怖くても
I
最後
don't
は抵抗することを選ぶ子だって。
I don't know if it's the law or legend or whatever, but I always thought you'd always resist it no matter how scary it was.
なのに
Yet you.
残念。
Too bad. She spoke with unbridled malice.
みんな神様に踊らされてるだけなのに。
You think it's cause Shinai-san said it? That's just stupid. It's God that's making everyone dance like they are.
ただ単に最初から殺したくて殺したくて殺したくて殺したくて殺したくてたまんなかっただけ。
Listen, I just really wanted to kill.
そう言ったら里帰りしたのだって殺しがしたくて戻ってきたようなもんだったしさ。
Yeah, I even returned back home just because I wanted to kill someone.
今夢みたいだよ。
That's why I'm feeling great right now.
残念、色々とさ、芹沢千恵美はそんな人間でした。女を見る目がなかったね。
Too bad, Romeo. That's how I always was. You have no luck with women, do you? But that was just...
春明さんに会った時から思ってたよ。この人を殺したらどうなるかなって。
I thought about what it would be like to kill you from the moment I met you.
ある意味ようやく夢が叶うんだよ、今。
In a way, this moment is like a dream come
ルー
true.
ル違反の私はどうせ今晩汚れでぐちゃぐちゃの死体になる。これは最後のお楽しみって感じかな。
I'm breaking the rules, so I'll just be a pile of meat tonight. This'll be my final bit of fun before that happens.
これで
So now, let's make a bet. All my curiosity about the mystery, the fear of the path leading to it, even the pain were all gone. Only pride was left.
10分くれたら、僕は必死に逃げる。その後僕を追いかける。
Give me 10.
僕の勝ち。
Give me 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes. I'll use them to run away. Once the time's up, you chase after me. If I get away, I win. If you win out, I wanted to set my own
僕
rules.
は、君を愛しながら死んでやろう。
I'll die with love for
い
you.
いね。素敵。
That sounds great. Even if this was a meaningless, insane dead end, I would go and die on my own way. Albeit staggering, I could still run if I ignored the pain. Blood was flowing out of all the wounds on my body, so I was probably leaving an easy-to-follow trail behind me. Even so, I ran uphill toward Kami Fujioshi. I knew that the path was closed off here. The last loop Haru-chan had entered the mountain and gotten stuck. The Misty Mountain was a separate realm, avoided by the people of Yasumizu. Perhaps like when I'd left through Saranaga, I was about to get lost in the mist and die to some monster. Even so, if I brought Chiemi here, I could maybe give a chance for Mako to escape, and that was good enough for me. If she wasn't coming after me, it was unlikely that she'd go after Mako instead. Chiemi would be left in the village all by herself to her own insanity. In that case, I figured I had to try running away through here at least. I'd given up on trying to understand her insanity this time around. Next time. Yeah, I'd think about it next time. I know, low battery. I passed the cliff and reached the mountain. The mist was even denser than usual. I looked down and noticed that along the road was covered by a landslide. The earth and sand and collapsed trees made it pretty much impossible to walk past here. I couldn't tell if it was artificial, nor did I have the knowledge to investigate and find out. I just followed the path. The 10 minutes had already passed, so Chiemi must have been tailing me. Whenever I stopped, I felt I could hear the sound of rustled grass in the distance. She was chasing me. From what I could tell, she was actually following the winding mountain path. That was good for me. I wanted her to keep up. It made this more interesting. Maybe she wasn't really trying to catch me. The distance between us wasn't closing at all. I suddenly became a bit dizzy. There was a largish tree nearby. I sat down next to it so I could catch my breath. My vision suddenly turned dim. I quickly opened my eyes, but I had a bad feeling, like I'd actually been out cold for a decent while. I tried standing up and realized I couldn't move my limbs properly. I must have lost too much blood. The end was close. My dulled senses told me my pursuer was nearby. I tried finding the path again, but I couldn't for some reason. Apparently my sense of direction, perception, and judgment were fading too. Perhaps things would have worked out if I wasn't injured. No, this was a different realm. Though acknowledged by few, the outskirts of the village were the hunting ground of the merciless mountain god, Great Lord Shinai's. Yeah, Great Lord Shinai. The only ones free to move in here.
待ちきれなくて降りてきちゃった。
I couldn't wait, so I just came down. Were the madmen siding with the mountain god? This was unreasonable, unscientific, superstitious, abnormal. Why was Chiemi up the mountain? I'd always sensed her coming from below. What was that all about?
さあ約束だよ。殺すね。
Alright, now love me while I kill you. I couldn't even say a thing, but I felt like I still had a chance. I rolled down the mountain. Go, 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 do your best. Brimming with the joy of the hunt, Chiemi chased after me. A part of me wanted the mountain to just collapse. My path was blocked off by natural trees, plants, growth in general. You're so cute. My body was at its limit, unable to tell whether my vision was turning dim or if the mist was becoming denser. I continued rolling. Ah! I used the last bits of my energy to face her. The wolf was coming. It was close. It would devour both my flesh and soul alike. I'd won the feast, so I hoped that the mountain god would at least save my soul. I'd gone through a load of difficult shit thus far, so it wouldn't be unfair to let me have a peaceful ending, right? Yeah, I knew full well that the world was in such a kind place. The upcoming death would surely be more painful and desolate than any before. After all, I knew that the one granting it to me was a girl I'd once loved. I didn't want this. I never desired an ending like this. Shit. I didn't care if it made me look like a sore loser. I wanted to go out in a way that would leave a thorn in Chiemi's heart. I thought a lot of meaningless things, but my words escaped me. The wolf's fang pierced the spider instead of me. What? Why? That was all I could say physically and mentally. Why was she alive? Why was she here? Why did she protect me? Those questions spun in my head, but only the last one found an answer. Of course she would do this. She was a descendant of the Uematsu until the very end. Her sense of duty and justice hadn't faded, even on the brink of death. She glanced at me, completely denying my assumption. That wasn't it. She was simply obeying her wretched, unwavering heart. After all, I was special to her. Sorry. I said another word. Sorry I couldn't stay with Mako. Sorry I couldn't protect everyone. Sorry I talked Wolf into a gamble that made it impossible for me to look you directly in the eye. That was the last word I would ever say. Even so, my eyes and ears were still active. Thus I witnessed everything that happened. Don't get in my way! With a maddened scream, the mad woman tried to pull the knife out, but she couldn't. It was probably snagged in her ribs so badly that neither pushing nor pulling helped. Arizawa-sama. Her voice was hard to make out due to all the blood leaving her mouth, but it was calm, gentle even. I shall take in your corruption. Hold on, guys. I want to try and get my controller connected up to charge, so it'll be quick. Alright, this should buy me a bit of time. What do you know? Yasumi's Yomi's corruption binds me no matter what. Would I remember enough of this to think about what those words meant next time? My failing vision merged them into one, and I noticed Rikako-san's hand reach for Jamie's neck by chance. Her finger caught on something. It was something on a string, a pendant. This is... No, don't look. Jamie released the knife, snatched the object back, and held it to her chest to hide it. Serizawa-sama? Her voice was dense with pain. Not only that, it was also tinged heavily with pity. I am so sorry. That is a corruption not even I can take in. I had no idea what those words meant, but... They carried the impact of a death blow for the wolf. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. God. 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 I'll kill you. Where are you? Where? I'll kill you, so come out. Come out. With that scream, Jamie ran off somewhere. Into the mist. She probably had no clear direction. Rikako-san collapsed. I am sorry, Haruaki-sama. Trying to move in her heavy-looking robe, she tried to crawl over to me. I could not protect Serizawa-sama or anyone else. She wasn't the only one. I thought the exact same thing. I really wanted to say that and go out with a smile, but I could barely even breathe. I used the very last of my power to collapse toward her. I then reached for her hand. Haruaki-sama. Her hand lay over mine. All life left our eyes, as we were gradually reduced to mere objects. Even so, her dying hand somehow felt warm. When we rise again, I will be more honest. Yeah. I wanted to respond to those feelings properly. I would destroy all my chances of losing, and I would leave the mist alongside this foolish, pure, lovable woman. Next time, for sure. Okay, key 15, Raging Loop. You can view it in the keys list. The route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number on the scenario chart. Game over. Bad ending number 19. Watch the hint corner. I would like to, but I don't have the time, so no. Besides, it's just going to be the same thing. Guess it was just a dream, right? Do better next time. Alright, let me get this set up to where I need to be. Okay. So, 15 is in here. Oh, over this way.
春明様はお優しい
Okay. And we'll save right here and call it a day. Because I have to get ready for lunch plans. Alright. I thank you all for coming. If you're watching this over on YouTube and you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and share this with anybody else that you think might enjoy this. And if you'd like the chance to chill with me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon to hopefully be notified of when I'll be live again. I've got plans tomorrow, so I'm guessing Monday, but I'm not too sure on that. I usually keep people up to date on that kind of thing on the posts tab of my YouTube channel. And if you guys are watching this on Twitch, you all know what to do. Normally, I'd be looking to get someone to raid, but I have to leave shortly, so I'm not going to be raiding this day. But I want to thank you all again for coming. Bye!